In Bangladesh, the
When you live nearby the airport, at this time noise will be here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to On Up Politics. As usual, we talk about politics and politics. Today, we will be zooming on the success of the Bangladeshi protesters. Many of us don't know about that. That there is a big protest going on in Bangladesh, just like that of Kenya, very successful so far. It's still very much going on. A lot of people have been killed. But I think there's a lesson that we Nigerians have to learn from what is happening between these two people. Why their protest is successful. Now, success is relative, of course. But if there's one thing I learned so far from the two protests, that of Kenya and Bangladesh, is that I draw this lesson from my experience as a professional athlete. One thing I learned as an athlete is that you don't go for competition just because there's a competition. You go for competition because you are ready. What am I trying to say? You don't just hit the street because you want to protest or because the atmosphere is calling for it. No. You hit the street to protest because you are ready, in the sense that you are ready to achieve results. But let me give you guys a brief of what I'm talking about. I will start today's show with clips from here and there to illustrate where we are headed. And but the focus here for me is maybe the Arabic game. The scope of the conversation today should be based on Bangladeshi protesters. They are demanding the cancellation of the existing quota system. Quota system. Now, the Nigerian, you can, I want only the it's self-explanatory. You will get out straight up when you hear quota system. Yes, quota system. This one are for jobs. That of the are for jobs. Our own Nigeria, pretty much it applies to everything, education, whatever, right? But we see, and again, we will see the correlation why Kenyans and Bangladesh are who they are and why they are taking that out, and that explains why we are where we are today as a Nigerian, as Nigerians. So the protest to boycott of the existing quota system, the provision of a fair quota for minority groups and disabled people, right? And the passing of a new law that establishes new quota system for a maximum of 5% of total jobs. Kenya protesters, on the other side, they initially demanded for the cancellation of the war, the Finance Bill 2024 as the target. Both, but after the bill was rejected, they began demanding President Wulo, President William Ruto's resignation. As Nigerians, what do we want? That's the question I keep asking. These two people, their demands were very clear. The Bangladeshi said the quota system has to go, and they succeed, but lead to some other thing. The Kenyan saying that, come, this bill is the root of evil. For you, you as a president, for you who have the guts to want to bring this kind of bill, you and your government have to go. I'm very precise and very sure that for me, that is the foundation of their results. But when we look at our own, on the other hand, it's a different ballgame. But let me not conclude. Let me just play. Let me give us a great background of where like, the Bangladeshis are coming from. Then we go. Mr. James, good morning. I see you. I'll send the link. I'll put out the link right now.
In Bangladesh, the death toll from the government's crackdown on massive student protests has risen to at least 174, with more than 2,500 people arrested. Internet access across most of Bangladesh remained dark for a fifth day. Police and soldiers have been granted shoot-on-sight orders amidst a nationwide curfew. Protesters are seeking job security and higher pay and want an end to civil service job quotas they call discriminatory. The quota system was designed to set aside a portion of government positions for the relatives of soldiers who fought in Bangladesh's independence war against Pakistan in 1971. Joining us here in New York is Salil Tripathi. He is the author of The Colonel Who Would Not Repent, The Bangladesh War and Its Unquiet Legacy. He's on the board of PEN International, a contributing editor to The Caravan. Welcome to Democracy Now! It's great to have you with us, Salil. If you could start off by explaining what's happening in Bangladesh for a global audience who may not have been paying attention.
Right. So we do have to go back to the 1971 war, in which hundreds of thousands of people died and a lot of Bangladeshi freedom fighters fought for freedom. In 1972, year after the war,
And the war was between?
The war was basically Pakistan was running Bangladesh. It used to be called East Pakistan then. And for about 9
The phrase that the word there is that the Bangladesh fought for their freedom. They're not negotiators. The same thing with Kenyans. They fought for their freedom.
9 months from March 1971 to December 1971, the war lasted, in which hundreds of thousands of people died. And towards the end of the war, India joined in and helped liberate Bangladesh. But it was essentially a Bangladeshi victory for independence. Now, after the war, the Prime Minister, the first elected Prime Minister was Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the father of the current Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina Wajed. He decided that they must do something for those who had sacrificed so much for the country, and which was this job security program, that they would have prior access to jobs. Later, it became a kind of a jobs for the kin sort of an exercise. And therefore, their children, their descendants, their grandchildren kind of got that benefit in perpetuity. So at one, there is an estimate which shows that the number of people who were actually involved in the war and could be called freedom fighters, maybe about 2 to 5% of the population. But the quota that was given to them was vastly disproportionate at 30%. Now, Bangladesh has a jobs crisis. About 12% or so of the young people between the age of 15 and 29 are without jobs. A lot of other people are also looking for work. The men have to go abroad to work in backbreaking jobs in Middle East and Southeast Asia, and the women are working in the garment factories. So there's a lot of anxiety about job security. Government jobs provide that security. And a lot of people who are educated in all the universities want those jobs. And I think that's why there is this resentment that those who are not part of this category are not able to get it.
And could you talk about why Bangladesh has remained mired in such poverty, one of the poorest countries in the world, subsequent to independence, and how that has fueled the discontent of the young people?
So it's an interesting question because if you look at economic growth figures, Bangladesh is doing rather well. It has been growing at the rate of 6.6% a year. It will, by 2026, it is not going to be called a least developed country anymore by the UN, and it has made impressive gains in removing absolute poverty from about 12% about 10 years ago to as little as 5% now. So in terms of certain parameters, it's doing well. Its per capita income is higher than India's, but there is growing inequality because there have been a lot of people who have become very, very wealthy. And some of that wealth is also partly because of corruption and nepotism. So the collective anger that you are seeing is over that inequality, lack of opportunities, and a perception that those who are close to the ruling class and ruling elite are getting all the benefits.
And in terms for those people who are not familiar,
This man is not describing Nigeria, he's describing Bangladesh. That's exactly the same thing that we are going through. So it's not just, we are not special. Continue.
with the period before the Independence War, could you talk about the role of the British colonialists in the partition and the independence?
The fact that they are angry that their citizens go abroad to go and do all sorts of jobs is something we should take note of. We they are busy with the japa, regardless of where we work in the factory, we work in White House, we are happy. That is because we don't understand what freedom means. That's the difference between the Kenyans and the Bangladesh. So far, in terms of as a nation, how they arrived at where they are today. So you can see the mentality. So that's why they are focused. Whatever they are making demand is very crystal clear and focused, and they go all the way. One thing I also want us to point out in this Bangladesh's protest is that it's nearly pure students. What they do was to organize various campuses, both private and government universities and secondary schools. That's what I keep saying. If you don't organize, you won't get anything done. So they didn't just hit the street. They started from campuses. They were well organized. Even as much as they kill them, they did not give up because they were organized. And they have a pure, simple, and clear defined goal. Quota system is not going to happen. Whatever that come out of that, it now depends on the government. Because if you actually don't want it to split that the president or the prime minister must go, then you have to do the needful. By the time you begin to apply pressure to make sure you get your wish through as a government, you are just going to be escalating whatever that is happening. The same thing with Kenya. But Moku continue. Mr. James, I see you, I know you over here. And over here, you are supposed to be superior to both Bangladesh and Kenya. We are supposed, that's the word right there. George Berlusconi. That's the word. Now we they deceive ourselves. We just believe that we are special because we live in a bubble. We live in a bubble. We think we know it all. These are people who don't get anything compared to what we have. And now only 50 years old. Now only 50 years they suffer that quota system. 50 years. It was 1971 also. And they could not bear it anymore. Mr. James, sorry, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. Anyway, continue.
Okay.
Continue.
Movements in the Indian subcontinent?
Certainly. So Bangladesh and Bengal were part of the United Bengal till about 1905, when the British were in control of India. In 1905, the province was divided into two halves, a Muslim part and a Hindu part, and that lasted till 1911. But between 1911 and 1947, which is when the partition occurred, a lot of religious divide continued to exist and prevail and became more significant. And in that process, you found a communalization of the politics there, and the British had the policy of divide and rule, and they were succeeding. One of the pivotal elements that happened was during the Second World War.
Does this sound like Nigeria between 1914, the amalgamation of the North and South, the Christian and the Muslim? Does it sound like that at all? He is talking about Bangladesh. They are 170 million too. They're not within a small country. He's talking about Bangladesh, not Nigeria. But you think he's talking about Nigeria. The same British you are playing in Nigeria was what played out. We ain't special.
When Winston Churchill was the prime minister in England, he decided to divert crops that would have come and stayed in and come to India to other parts to feed the troops who were in Southeast Asia. And that created an artificial famine. Amartya Sen has written extensively about it. Madhushri Mukherjee has written extensively about it. Her book is actually called Churchill's Secret War. And close to 2 or 3 million people died. It's an extremely dire situation. Satyajit Ray has made an amazing film about it called Ashani Shankit. So it has been very well documented by artists, by filmmakers, by novelists, and that led to the impoverishment of the province. And then, of course, the partition takes place. Most of the Hindu parts do go to India, and most of the Muslim parts remain in Bangladesh, and poverty has been set in it. Then, of course, you have the Civil War back in 1971. And after the Civil War in 1974, there is a very bad famine. And that also leads to further impoverishment of the countryside. So there has been a series of setbacks, and also because of its delta, like the situation with the Bay of Bengal and the cyclones, it's a very fertile land, but also the parts which are closer to the water have become almost uninhabitable.
I want to ask you about the prime.
Does that sound like Niger Delta and in Nigeria? Because Niger Delta, in a real sense, the intact community in Niger Delta are inhabitable. That's what other people are not talking about.
Minister Salil. On Monday, the Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina defended her deployment of the military to the streets, blaming the main opposition Bangladesh Nationalist Party, or BNP, for instigating the violence. This is what she said.
BNP is instigating it. My question is, they are doing so many things. Who is patronizing them? Can you find where they are getting the financial help from? The most sensitive thing is the matter of the students. We must make sure that they won't get harmed. We have tried, by efforts of our police and all our forces. When arson terrorism started, the protesting students said they were not involved in it, and we condemn it. We don't want it. When they pulled off from the protest, I deployed army only then. I did not do it before the students pulled off from protests. Many want to tell me about deploying the army against the students. I was involved in student politics starting from the Dhaka University. I know what the army could do.
So that's the Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina.
Now, do we see exactly the same thing going on, blaming the opposition party when they are saying, oh, now Obi, now the organized party now. The same script is playing out by the same government. So you see why, even though the protest, the government decided to flip on them, they did not give up. They started by accusing the opposition party, just like what is going on right now. They are accusing Obi. They're not forgetting that Atiku now comes second for the election. But all of a sudden, Atiku is not the biggest opponent anymore, right? It's now Atiku. It's now Obi. And even though Sowore is doing everything he can to claim the leadership of the protest, but they ignore him, right? Okay, I want us to be paying attention to the signals rather than the noise that we talked about all the time.
Fourth time as prime minister in this more than 50-year history of an independent Bangladesh. Can you explain who she is and also what's happening today? What has the number of people who have been killed, the thousands who have been arrested, the number escalating every hour?
Yeah, it's very interesting, her trajectory and her story, because she's one of the two sisters who were out of the country at the time when her father and almost the entire family were wiped out in the coup in 1975. And she remained in exile. In 1981, she comes back as the harbinger of democracy. People see her as a great hope. She works very hard with others, including her current rival, basically Khalida Zia, to work towards building a democracy. And they try to restore democracy. Democracy comes in. She gets elected in 91. She loses in 96. And then there's a period when she's out of power. and she gets elected again in 2008. Now, all of that period, there's a lot of goodwill about her. But once she is elected in 2008, the elections after that have been questioned. Opposition has boycotted 2 of the elections, and in the third, within hours of the launch of the elections, people started boycotting them. And the reason is that it was a lopsided election with booth capturing, intimidation of voters, bogus voters list, and so on. So she has perpetuated her hold. And her main rival, Khalida Zia, she has been under house arrest for 8 years, the one that she has been singling out.
I think this is what Mr. James always emphasizes on, right? Boycotting of the election and all that. And I think this is the process which Mr. James always talks about. And I think he questioned us yesterday, why are we still fighting against 2027, right? The opposition. Even though we say the last election is nothing to write home about, everybody agree. Everybody agree that that election is exactly what this man is describing, right? But guess what? We are fighting against 2027 again, right? And I think this is where Mr. J question with the young people that seem to have access to so much information and all that. Why are we still thinking the way we are thinking? So, Mr. J, I see your point here, but let's continue. The thing was finished like maybe 3 minutes more.
BNP here. She has been under house arrest for 8 years. She's critically ill right now. I believe she's in a critical care unit at a hospital. So to imagine that she is in charge, her son, who could be her successor, lives in exile in London. So to imagine that she is somehow manipulating or choreographing an entire protest movement against Hasina is, well, a nice theory, but I think it's a nice narrative. But it's very hard to establish that it is really the BNP which is at the forefront of it, or for that matter, the Islamic Party, Jamaat-e-Islam, which has never won more than 12% of the vote in Bangladesh in 1991, and in the elections since, never more than 6 or 7%. So it is not a very popular, large force. Of course, in the subcontinent, you can fill a crowd with 100,000 people.
So, at the same thing, the prime minister is accusing her opponent, who she put in house arrest for so many years. Our family are in exile, but you are accusing her of organizing this kind of protest. The same thing. Obi is anywhere, wherever he is, doing Obi, living his best life, but the government is accusing him of planning a protest that Showore said, now me they in charge. So do we understand what this is, where the opposition is trying this to? Even though Gome decide to say, "Come, we also are hitting the street," but no, innocent man Obi is the target. This this is a game that played out in the 40s in Nigeria. There was a Zik movement, just like the obedient. It's called they call it Zykies and Zikism. You people should go and read about the 40s. I'm talking about Nigeria in the 1940s, right? The same thing happened. What is happening to Obi now was the same thing that happened to Zik. At the end of the day, Zik had to be forced to abandon on the 906 So that the same thing that is playing out here. So he's accusing Obi the same thing. The Prime Minister of Bangladesh doing currently. You are accusing your opponent that you put in house arrest for so many years that is constituting this kind of protest. Anyway,
people anytime because it's a highly populous region, but it's 100,000 out of 180 million. And that's the way to look at it. So it's obviously she would want to say that, she would want to portray it as a continuation of past struggles, but it's highly debatable.
I wanted to ask you also about how the prime minister is seen by other major powers in the region, specifically India and the U.S. Is she seen mostly as a useful ally in a predominantly Muslim country?
Absolutely. And she has played that to her advantage. She has signed, there was a story on Voice of America some years ago.
Is Bola Tinubu a useful ally to France or the Western world? I mean, I'm just repeating this to know that with the life we are living, people there where they live like us, but they are achieving one success one way or the other. So we are not special. So is he a useful ally? And if he's a useful ally, was Buhari a useful ally? Was no. These are the questions we should be asking, because this is the difference between Nigerians and other youth across the world. Consciousness, knowing exactly what is playing out. It is because we don't know. That is why they say reduce salary, increase salary, sack judge, sack. No, that is not going to solve the problem. Hit the hardcore and you see what happens. Hit them where it matters more, and all of them will begin. They fight will start. But all this boils down to awareness and education, which largely, if they put us side by side with the Kenyans and Bangladesh, averagely, there's no comparison. We are far, far, far. We don't even know what they go on within our own life, not to talk of them. Because, and as I said, they fought for their freedom. According to Nigeria, there's a difference between fighting for your freedom and negotiating for your freedom. That's what is playing out here.
I mean, I was doing some research around it, which showed that she said she will stand shoulder to shoulder against the war in the war on terror, and she has very close ties with Prime Minister Narendra Modi in India, where also she says that she is going to make sure that the ties remain close, and again she has given certain concessions to India, which have made India incredibly unpopular today in Bangladesh, and that deals with trade corridors and things like that. But those ties, she has a great ally in Narendra Modi, and she has a tacit support of the US administration.
Where do you see this all headed right now?
Very good question. I mean, prediction is always hard, particularly about the future. But more seriously, I think there are two options. One is that she's going to dig her heels and stay where she is and hope that this passes. And I think it can pass, and she can probably, I'm not trying to say that she can redeem herself. It's for Bangladeshis to decide. But she has to focus again on the vulnerable, on the poor, and try to see and operate in a fair and transparent manner. Whether she's capable of doing that is a different question also. The other scenario that people talk about, but it's only a talk, is some kind of a military intervention, which I hope not, because nobody in Bangladesh really likes military rule, and nobody who cares for democracy would like it either. What can happen is what did happen between 2006 and 2008, which was a period when the military supported what was called a caretaker government. This was a government of wise people and economists and bureaucrats and academics and so on, who tried to help ease the transition to power. And she won after that. The election that she won in 2008 was because there had been a caretaker government in place. Bangladesh's constitution allowed that. But she abrogated that part of the constitution, which is why that concept has gone. But those are the kind of things that can happen. And maybe from these highly patriotic and spirited student demonstrators, we'll see a new form of leadership emerge.
Mr. James.
Yeah. No.
This is happening as we speak. So it's not it's the latest development coming out from Bangladesh. They have the students have succeeded. So the quota system has been abolished. So I don't know if you follow the story that I've been yeah,
Now you see, there was a time, I think it was this on this platform, I said I do not know why people study history. Because although I read history a lot, but if you ask me why do you read history, I cannot answer that question appropriately. The reason is because history has kept repeating itself long before I was born. Man did not learn anything from history. We fought catastrophic two world wars, and there are signs that we are going to fight another as members of the human race. No matter the calamity we go through or we experience or grappling with, we don't learn anything from it. That is why people like us in Nigeria, we are repeating what has happened in other parts of the world. This video clip you've just shown, if, assuming it's written in the form of a book, you can remove Bangladesh, then replace it with Nigeria. When you read it, the reader will think that the author actually is actually writing on Nigeria. You just need to change the character and the places. The stories are exactly the same thing. Now, we have professors of history, political science, and what have you, Nigerian universities, and law. They are unable to, or we, I won't say they, we, because I'm also a Nigerian, we are unable to copy or to learn from what peoples of other parts of the world have already gone through and conquered. So this is one of the causes of the problem we have today. And the root cause is ignorance. As Nigerians, we are a bunch of ignorant people. To even, explain it further, properly, if you ask a Nigerian today on the street of Lagos, what is the capital of Freetown, Sierra Leone? What he will just ask you is, what concern me with Sierra Leone? You get the point? Now, we don't know anything even about our nearest neighbor, Republic of Benin. Some people still believe that the capital of Benin is Cotonou. Some believe that it is Porto Novo. But if you mention these two towns to a Nigerian, maybe they will know Cotonou because of business, not because it's the capital of Republic of Benin. So we are a bunch of ignorant people. And that ignorance is what is disturbing us up to today. And the ruling class, they are capitalizing on that ignorance. To make it, to intensify it, they make sure that the educational system is crumbled. After crumbling the educational system, they send their children to school abroad. So we now produce a lot of graduates, tens of thousands of graduates who cannot reason critically. So this is the problem we are grappling with. You've been asking a very important question since yesterday. What are we actually going to the streets to do? What do we want to accomplish? You get the point? Now, I mean, we've not been able to answer that question. What do we want? What do we demand from government? Are we demanding that they should change the administrative structures of the country, or the government should be collapsed totally? Or we should tell them clear-cut demands that this is what we want, and we can go from there. Because if we go to the street now, at most, we will sustain it for 1 month. At the end of the day, people will start retreating back to their homes. It will be business as usual. Before you know it, 2027 will come. They start playing the gimmicks again, organize another scam election. And so this is the process we'll be going through in the country. And it's going to take some time before we get over it, because we need to revamp our educational system. Unfortunately, the government in power now cannot, or will not, they will not revamp the educational system. It's not in their interest. So the best thing they can do even is to set up more wishy-washy universities, produce a lot of wishy-washy graduates who cannot reason properly to sustain their grip on power. This is the problem we are going through in Nigeria.
You know, you said something very that I agree with you at the beginning, that history we don't learn from our history, we don't know our history, and I think that's true. And it's because it was pretty much all over the world. And there's an author called Yuval Noah Harari that defined history as the study of change. That's what he described history to be, as the study of change. I 2 years ago, when I was in Atlanta, I was doing community service because I got arrested because I don't get a driver's license. So I went to court and do this. So I opted to do community service instead of paying money. So I remember this. I choose a women's shelter for the community service. So all I need to do, I'll just go there in the morning. Yeah, a lot of that's where people women who don't have home or whatever, you just go there, they'll give you shelter for the meantime. So our job as a community, we are doing a community service, they just to go to say, okay, if they eat breakfast, you help them arrange their breakfast and all that. So most of the time, I they meet other 2, 3, 4, 5 people who are doing the same thing that came there to do. So at the end of the day, there's nothing to do. And I'm to do like 10 hours because I'm 50 hours, 50 hours in total. So I do 10 hours every day. So since there's nothing to do, I will just go straight. They have a library. That's one thing about all these community centers, government providers. So they have a library. So I'll go straight to the library and I'll pick history book. I pick American 1667, that's the independence. Then the second day I pick the Civil War. The Civil War of 1863. And I didn't know that there's this lady there who was paying attention. So she walked up to me, this Caucasian lady. She walked up to me one morning. She said, "Tom, I'm interested. Why are you reading history?" I laugh. I say, well, other than I love history, this particular book speaks to my country, Nigeria. And this was during election period. That exactly what happened in the 60s, in 1860s in America, is pretty much what tells the story of Nigeria. And she just looked at me, she said, So that means you understand that history tells itself through politics. So when you said this elite class are using our ignorance to govern us. It is because they understand history and they pretty much they are history maker. So history repeats itself via politics. That's why it's our leaders, the politicians that actually bring us to the break of breakup. Anything that happens, there's no any society that say, oh, now because of the ignorance of the society that they just start from nowhere. It is the leader that will always put the society to that point. So they understand history. The few people that actually understand history are the ones actually playing politics. And they don't actually believe that their destiny they understand that being in power is the ultimate everything. So when you say that we lack history and they're using against us, you are probably right. And that's exactly what the Kenyans took advantage of, and the Bangladesh. So let me play this short video to illustrate to continue the conversation. Jamaica, James? Sorry, man of prestige. Good afternoon, okay, Mr. James. An evening from Barcelona. Long flight of 12 hours. 3 minutes. Congratulations for your prediction before my departure that Biden will abdicate the presidency. Don't worry, I welcome. And he said, Oga James, our problem is that we know all. They declare graph, so there's noise. Bear with me. Now, Mr. James, can you hear me clearly? Or you can hear the noise?
Yes, yes. I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. So, Oga James, our problem is that we know all. We know all our problems and the solution, but deliberately refuse to solve it. Huh? When you say deliberately refuse to solve it, I don't know. I'm confused. Mr. James, you understand what? Do you agree with that? That we deliberately refuse to solve our problem? Is
We are
that
unable to solve it. We are unable to solve it. Not that we are unable. Not that we are deliberately refusing. We are unable to solve the problem. That is the. Actually, I agree with him. We know our problems. There's no doubt about that. But we are refusing to solve it. But when you say deliberately, it means you are intentionally refusing to solve it. Anyway,
right?
maybe we are saying the same thing. If you look at it critically, but
I
that word
don't.
deliberately refuse to solve it. Anyway, maybe it's emphasizing refuse without deliberately. That
Yeah, but
what,
even that refuse, I don't know. Refuse who?
no, you
I
see,
don't know
excuse me.
if we
When
actually
we say
understand. Do we understand our problem? Though? We know our problem, but do we understand them? Mr. James,
no,
do we understand our problem?
we
We know. I don't know if it makes sense. My statement, if that question makes sense.
you see, who are those to solve our problems? It is not you and me. It is those in power, the elite. The elite are refusing to solve it, and their refusal to solve it is to protect their interests. Because if they solve it, it's like committing class suicide. They will sweep
Yeah,
themselves out of power.
but Mr. James, those in power will say you. They will say it's me and you that put them in power. And kind of they
No,
will be kind of right.
We did not put them in power. The glitch, the glitch that happened in 2023 election is not you and me that caused it. It is they in power that caused it to enable them gain access to the corridors of power. We did not put them in power.
Okay, I think this is where I said if we do understand our problem, right? I will agree with you that it is great they force their way to power, but they didn't do that from abstract. They didn't do that from nowhere. They do that from a foundation, which is us. Which go back to your point during the election that this election should not even hold. So the fact that we agree to participate or to hold the election empower them to now
No,
release
you
their
see,
grip on us.
they prepared us before the election so that we will agree. Now, how did they do that? First of all, okay, let me set an example. History is not being taught in Nigerian schools. That's what I was told. I don't know if they have returned it.
You're
It has
right.
been restored. Even if they restore it, if they restored it, it's not the kind of history we studied during my time that they are teaching now. They must have adulterated it. And they did it to prepare your mind in such a wishy-washy way that you cannot analyze national issues. You get the point? Now, in Nigeria history textbook, for example, if you pick it up and read account of the Civil War, they will not tell you the nitty-gritties of that war, what happened behind the scene, and what led to the final showdown. They just scratch the surface, set questions on it in exams, and to them, you studied Nigerian history. But history is more than that. They prepared our minds for for decades, you understand, before that 2023 election. So we do not even know what we were going in for. The euphoria, the enthusiasm, we're just carried away. Election is coming, beavers have been introduced, it is computerized. But they knew what they were doing, and when at the 11th hour they said there was a glitch, it was then Nigerians knew that they were taken for a ride. So Nigerians would love to solve the problem, but do they have the capability to solve it? The electorate do not have the capability, but those in power will not solve it. Because if they solve it, that amounts to class suicide.
Well, Mr. James, two things. I will like to push back on is, yes, I agree with you. We are a victim of lack of history. But there's this quote that I like so much, and I think it's from the book Sapia. It says, in an age of information, ignorance is a choice. I'm saying that the amount of people in Nigeria today that have access to this is more than I can say it's more than the total population that existed during your time when you were teaching history.
No, you see, one thing again is this. Look, you can have information, but do you have the ability to process the information? Are you getting me? Mr. John and Paul fought at Ring Road, Benin City. That is history. That is information. But what are the implications of that fight? What caused the fight? Is it because Mr. John took Mr. Peter's wife? That is because of the... No. You see, your ability to process information is as important as the information itself. Nigerians are unable to process the information of even what is happening right now. They cannot process it.
Okay, now we are going deeper. We are going to the rabbit hole. It's getting deep now, Mr. James. How do we? God damn. I wish I have a counter argument to that. The capacity, the ability for you to protect the information that you have access to is a different. So now, how do we develop that capacity? In what way? How do we? I mean, if I can put myself, if I can take myself out of it in a way, I would say, okay, it's because of I'm fortunate enough to live the kind of life I live, in the sense that I've traveled wide, I've met a lot of people, I'm exposed to so many way of so
I'm sorry.
with all these advantages I have, I still struggle to actually process some of the information that hit me every day, especially misinformation and information. Not to talk of someone who is not that fortunate, just being in one location and still don't have access to things that would help me or her build that capacity. Where do we go from here? How do we build that?
Ability to process information does not depend on the number of degrees you have. You don't need a PhD degree to process information in your mind. Now take British prime ministers, for example, there's one they call, who was there before Margaret Thatcher? John Major. John Major was a school set holder. It's not a degree holder. Even Margaret Thatcher read chemistry at university. In Ronald Reagan, I doubt if he attended university. I think he went to a school they call Eureka College. Okay, the point I'm making is, to process information, you don't need a PhD degree. Your level of enlightenment matters. I mean, if not for this age we are living in right now, in Nigeria, we were not exposed to events happening in other parts of the country or other parts of the world. We just live in our individual worlds. So to be able to reason critically, we found it very difficult. And that could also explain why the level of embezzlement of public funds was not very alarming in those days compared to what it is now. Because the little people steal in those days was just enough for them. They feel they've done what no man has ever done, not knowing that in other parts of the world, they do greater things than that. So to solve this problem, it's not what we are going to be able to accomplish overnight, because it has taken the ruling class since independence, they've been mismanaging the country. And that mismanagement affected the educational system. They withheld information from people. And quite a lot of things have happened to perpetuate their grip on power. And the challenges they are facing right now, take it or leave it, is caused by this social media something. For the first time in Nigeria, in Benin City, for example, people have started asking questions. Why are they fighting in Syria? What is going on in Kenya? If it were to be in those days during my time, it will take us 2 weeks in Benin to know that the Kenyans are demonstrating. So it's going to take some time before either this generation or the next generation of Nigerians will be able to take their leaders to start squarely. First, when Bola Tinubu was coming to occupy the president office, I'm sure he did not know that the level of complexity of the government is going to inherit. He did not know.
Mr. James,
Yes.
I can argue that the lack of abundance of information that you guys that did not experience is largely responsible with the achievement that your generation achieved. I mean, in the area of ability to process information. But for also the generation of today, that you are hoping that they will, either think different, because and your examples are the exposure to information we have in their social media and every other thing. But they are coming at rates whereby even the best of us can't even comprehend all of that. Now, with all this, what gives you that belief that this current generation, the next generation, we actually have the ability to actually process information that you think we are lacking?
Okay, let me answer it this way. In my time, we were not having enough information. Yeah. But we were blessed with the people who were exposed to the other parts of the world. People like Bola Ige, Latif Jakonde, Ambrose Ali, and others, they traveled to other parts of the world. So they were able to, their minds were more mature compared to us who were at home. Now, it does not necessarily mean that if your mind is mature, you behave responsibly towards society. But we were lucky that these guys were reasonable compared to the people we have now. So despite the fact that we lacked information, but those at the helm of affairs were enlightened. They know how to play their games with the other countries of the world to the benefit of the country. But that is not the case now. Now, right now, the youths, from what you are saying, they are exposed to quite a lot of things. But will they be able to use it appropriately for the benefit of society? It's both yes and no. It's a matter of luck. If you have,
what
if
I'm
you are
saying,
not,
do you believe in their ability? Yeah, do you believe in their capacity to process the information they are receiving now compared to
yes,
your
yes,
days?
yes.
More than your days?
Look. This man they call Peter Obi, Adewale Adebayo, what's this man? Peter Obi, Adewale Adebayo, Showore, and Shehu Sani of Kaduna South. Now, if you listen to these men, when you ask them questions, they don't just give you direct answer. They try to process the answers they want to give to you, which shows the maturity of their minds. Now, you see, the character of a man is a question of choice. There's no formula for determining the character of a man. A child is born today, two children born from the same womb, the same day. One could become a violent soldier, while the other will become a priest. How do we explain that?
But
It's a matter
Mr.
of choice.
James,
Yeah.
Mr. James, Zeke, Awolowo, Bola Ige, Bola Tinubu, Peter Obi, do you know what they all have in common?
Mm-hmm.
The exposure that you are giving, you are ascribing to the Zeke that is responsible for the way they govern. The likes of Tinubu and Peter Obi are the same thing. They all live, they don't even have, they live abroad. All their schooling, everything is abroad, just like the likes of Zeke and Awolowo. So that's what I'm saying. They all have the same privilege in terms of ability to, the advantage that they have in terms of exposure, to more education, mature mind, as you rightly put it, is the same. But their ability to actually apply that is different. And I agree with you. You said it because you attributed to the fact that it's not everybody that receives information has the capacity to process it, to the benefit of the society, which is what differentiates Awolowo, Tinubu, and Obi, if for the sake of conversation. So I am now asking, today's generation is the same thing. We are pretty much having the same thing. A lot of us live abroad as we speak. We are educated, we are abroad and every other thing. But the plus and minus that we have is I say plus and minus because it depends on, again, how you use the advantage that's before you now, which is not there before, which is the social media. So if you are saying it is because of their exposure, these three generations, they have the same exposure. In fact, Obi and Tinubu have better exposure to the Western world, to the outside world, than Zeke and Awolowo.
Yeah, earlier on I mentioned something about character. The character of a man is a matter of choice. You and me can attend Harvard University. We both hold PhD degrees in philosophy. We went through the same process, but when I come, the way I use my degree and the way I use my knowledge and the way you use yours might not be the same thing. The character of a man is a question of choice. A father can bring up his children in the same house, the same environment, and at the end of the day, you see one becoming an armed robber, while another one will become a priest in the Catholic Church. So it is the same thing. In the present Nigeria of today, okay, take people like Tunde Diagba, for example. Tunde Diagba was in the barracks. Nobody knew that this guy was in existence. Not until they overthrew Shagari and he came to limelight. Of all the people who surrounded Buhari and even included Buhari himself, he distinguished himself. He was holding a bachelor's degree in economics from Pakistan. He attended the military school over there. It's a matter of choice. He made up his mind, this is how I want to live my life. Maybe, I don't know, in the present Nigeria, there might be people in government who are refusing to steal. You got the point? Now, there's a man, I'm sorry, I have to mention his name, because people might think that I'm just concocting a story. I apologize to the man if he will be annoyed that I mentioned his name online. This man is from River State. His name is Jaja. I think Tony or something Jaja. He's a Jehovah's Witness. This man was given bribes and he refused to accept it. So they set him up, landed him into problems, and it's very encouraging. Let me mention the name again. It's very encouraging that it was Femi Falana who defended this man free of charge, and he got out of the trouble. Because he told them that he is a Jehovah's Witness. His religion forbid him from taking bribes. You get the point? Now, this man attended the same school, maybe with those who were offering the bribes, or they grew up in the same environment. But as a matter of choice, he made up his mind that he will not accept the bribe. Now, is it the religion that made him not to accept the bribe? It's difficult to say, because it's possible to see a Jehovah's Witness who will accept bribe. But that's the reason he gave. So the character of a man depends on choice. If you choose to be whatever you are, that is your own choice. So that is how I see it. So it is difficult to say if the present generation of Nigerians will be able to get out of this problem in future or not. If we are lucky to get those who are reasonable, well-informed, with analytical mind at the helm of affairs,
Bangladesh has scaled back.
At the helm of affairs, we'll get what we want. So that is how I see it.
I'll come back to the comment section. Let's go back to this menu.
The quota system for government jobs, the development comes in the face of nationwide unrest and deadly clashes that left 155 people dead. The top court ordered that 93% of positions in the government sector will now be filled based on merit. 5% will remain reserved for children of veterans from the 1971 Liberation War and 2% for other categories. However, Bangladesh student groups have refused to call off the protests. Meanwhile, business has resumed after curfew was eased in Dhaka. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina held a meeting with her security advisor and a tri-service chief on the security situation in the country. Neighboring countries, including India and Nepal, have stepped up efforts to evacuate their nationals from the violence-hit country. India's security forces said 300 Indian students have returned to India by the land border crossings today. This in addition to the 526 students who...
The Supreme Court in Bangladesh scales back a government jobs quota. Protests against the controversial policy led to a nationwide curfew, killings, and a communications blackout. So, will this move appease angry students? And what's behind the recurring unrest? This is Inside Story. Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Mohammed Jamjoom. After weeks of widespread unrest in Bangladesh, the Supreme Court has changed a controversial quota system for government jobs. It's significantly reduced the share of public sector positions reserved for war veterans' family members. But despite the ruling, the protests appear to be far from over. Initially student-led, they've grown to include people frustrated by rising inflation and high food prices. Dozens of student leaders, activists, and opposition figures have been arrested. With soldiers on the streets, a nationwide curfew is in place and a communications blackout. There are also growing calls for Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to take accountability. So what does this mean for her government? And will the quota reforms be enough to restore calm? We'll explore these issues with our guests in a moment, but first, this report by Katia Lopez Hodoyan.
The Supreme Court in Bangladesh appears to have listened to tens of thousands of angry students. After weeks of demonstrations and police crackdowns, the top court scaled back a quota system for government jobs. The protests began in early July after the reinstatement of a controversial policy which reserved more than half of government jobs for minorities and relatives of veterans who fought for independence in 1971. Now the court has reduced that share from 56% to 7%.
That means 93% of the quota will be for the general public, 5% for freedom fighters and their relatives, 1% for ethnic minorities, and 1% for transgender and physically disabled applicants.
Initially led by students, the protests grew to include people frustrated with high inflation and rising food prices. The government deployed the army to enforce a nationwide curfew and cut mobile and internet services to ensure security, it said. More than 100 people have been killed, thousands injured.
People were killed and tortured. They were killed with our government's permission as they called for reforms to the quota system. The state should take responsibility.
It is a matter of common sense that more than 50% of the jobs cannot be given away to quota holders. A normal state cannot be run like this.
The unrest points to a wider frustration with the governing Awami League. 7 months ago, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina won a fifth-term in elections, critics described as a sham. The opposition boycotted the vote, accusing her of corruption and suppressing dissent. About 20,000 opposition activists were arrested, but this time the government says it invited students to talks.
Students who are against the quota, we welcome them and put their proposals up for discussion. Our Honourable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina also welcomes their input.
Government supporters point to the economic transformation under Hasina's leadership, which has lifted millions of people out of poverty. Despite that, nearly 20% of the population is out of work or school, and Hasina's government is facing a new pushback led by a younger generation. Katia Lopez-Odoyan, Al Jazeera for Inside Story.
Quota system. Quota system. You see, when they talk, okay, go ahead, Mr. James.
I've never supported this issue of quota system. I've never supported it. You get the point? You cannot say that I should stop growing so that my junior brothers will attain my height or will attain my position in life before I start growing again. Competition comes with development. And that's what the capitalist system is all about, competition. Open your brain, open your mind to enable you do better than others. But this idea of quota system, something has to be done about it in Nigeria. And this is what caused the problem now in Pakistan, in Bangladesh, quota system. Because they fought for independence, their descendants should be given permanent positions for life, from now till time indefinite. Just like those who fought to keep Nigeria one. The soldiers who died during the Nigerian Civil War, their descendants should be given permanent position in government from now till eternity. That's what they'll be doing in Bangladesh. Now in Nigeria, because they said a part of the country has not been able to catch up with the others. So as a result of that, if you write your common, JAM exam, not common entrance, in my time it was common entrance. If you write your JAM exam, if the cutoff mark for JAM is 180, now if you go for your post-JAM exam, the cutoff mark for, a university somewhere, there's discrimination. Because you are from Lagos State or XYZ State, you have to score this mark. If you come from, to me, it's unadulterated nonsense. I was discussing with a friend this afternoon. In the United States, let's say they have a program. They have a problem they want to solve. And they ask American youth or undergraduates or whatever it is, to submit research proposals to solve that problem. Now, if they happen to submit from all over the states in the US, let's say there's somebody from maybe Kenya or Lesotho or Mauritius who happen to submit one without, what's it called? What's the right English word? Unsolicited from Lesotho down there. The Americans will never throw it away. Though it is unsolicited, they will consider everything. Should they discover that that guy from Lesotho is in a position to solve the problem better than all those who submitted in the US, do not be surprised that they will go for that guy. They will invite him to the US, make him a citizen if necessary, and award him that research opportunity. That is, you see, it is only reasonable men who can develop this world we are living in. It is not a place of birth that will develop the world. The Americans went to the moon and returned because they used their reasonable men. In fact, their reasonable men sat down to solve that problem. How do we go to the moon and come back? But if they are saying that, you see, among these people will go, 2 must come from Nevada, another one from maybe Rhode Island, one from Massachusetts, the other one from maybe Chicago, they would not have been able to go to the moon. So the quota system is counterproductive. We just need to do something about it. This is how I see it.
And now, and the protest was and is still very effective because, as they say, it started from campus, which include both private and government. But most importantly, the message and their target, which is the quota system. And that led me start questioning what the Showore-led protesters are demanding. Why, if this is not a political stunt, why is it so hard for them to say, okay, yes, one thing that I actually agree with is the constitution. Now, which is the when you put constitution as in the center stage as the message, this constitution must go. Nobody will come and accuse you are being tribal about it, you are being discriminated about it because you know favor you or not. And I think that is more objective reality for people to actually queue on than all this salary must be this must be this. So it begs me to ask the question again: where is the target? Where is the focus? Now, listen, regardless of how they want to turn twist the story of Bangladesh, trying to say, oh, now opposition party that is taking advantage of it. There is no way they can jump over what the student majority are asking for, which is the quota system. Now, you cannot accuse the opposition, say, oh, they want the overturn government, or they are talking about that. That's your prerogative. But the message is so clear that no matter how you want to spin it, you cannot avoid the fact that the quota system must go, which, again, you can say about the Kenyans. The Kenyan young people say, come, this bill had to go. By extension, the people who bring this bill had to go. Now, you can accuse every other people that's called me, the hoodlums, the bandits, the whatever that's trying to hijack the process. But you cannot hijack the message. Whatever you are trying to add to it to dilute the message, it's not happening. So that's why I'm questioning this our own. If you make the constitution as a center stage, the constitution had to go. And the young majority based on that, regardless of how they accuse Peter Obi, saying that because you know win election, how they want to accuse any other person out there, IPOP want hijack him, how the hoodlum want to take over them, me and the people, it's not going to undermine the fact that what the young people want is that the constitution must go, or these governments as it is must go. So when the message is not clear, that's why I say, okay, this is more, everything here sounds like a campaign for me. It sounds like it's a campaign message because it is very easy for the government to say to negotiate. Because before the protest in Bangladesh turns violent, the government actually sit down with the student protesters to negotiate. They say, no, this is not about no. Even the 5% that they reduced it to from 30% to 5%, they have still say, no, we want the quota system gone. That's what the young people want because now they are the victim. Once the fresh out of university, automatically 70 and 30% of you are gone. I don't get hope. Fresh out of university, there's no hope for you. Then you go, this particular semester is gone. There's no hope for you. Just like the quota system we are fighting for in Nigeria. Somebody is from the south, or somebody will get just because the quota you guys pass so much, there's no hope for you. So if the message is clear, no matter how they want to twist and turn, in the name of to destabilize the society, it's not going to work. But with all this demand there, increase my salary, do this, do it. You are making things complicated for even the international community to see your message clear. Now, Al Jazeera, they try to make the message. No matter how anybody or any third party or any external person wants overturn the story of Kenya and Bangladesh, you cannot underscore the real message and what the young people want, which is the bill must go and the quota system must go. So, and that's what I was arguing yesterday. The average Nigerian person, no want these people. All of them, we don't want these people having Nigeria on the street. But for some people to now come in the name of revolution, now they know we want salary, we want constitution. You are not doing the Nigerians, young people, or the people where they the best a favor. That's what I take out from what is going on here, Mr. James.
Yeah, what I think, sorry, another way of looking at it is this. I think I said it yesterday. This could be a decoy. In military language, there's what they call decoy. They set up a situation to deceive the enemy, whereas what they actually want to do is different from what the enemy is saying.
Yes.
Maybe those people behind this move, what they are saying is just a decoy. When the process is in motion, it's likely they come up with something else that will take people unawares, because they too, they are learning. They learn from the NSAS problem. And from their experiences during the NSAS problem, they just have to build on it. Probably, I'm just guessing, probably this is a decoy. But when the process is already in motion, then you see the true intention and probably the people who are behind it. Because right now, I cannot pinpoint anybody who is behind this movement.
Sorry.
Yeah, I cannot pinpoint anybody who is behind. Is it Sheikh Gumi in the north? Or himself and his
Shegumi is announcing his own. Showore is in charge of his own revolution now, days of rage and so many hashtag that goes with it and so many demands. So yes, for now, those are the two people that I know that I hear from them, from videos that I'm seeing. I don't know any other group.
So, left to me, they blundered by giving the government a date that we are starting on August 1st. The government right now, no, take it from me, they are ready. But one thing I'm trying to see is that they will make sure they minimize casualties, they reduce casualty to the barest minimum. Because they know that the more people they kill, the more anger they incur from the people. But one thing again is that if they want to use, let's say, tear gas, for example, if there's a strategy to disperse the people with tear gas, the more the what's it called, demonstration, the more protracted it is, the more they exhaust their stock. If that is their plan, I do not see why by now they must have gone to other West African countries like Ghana, Togo, Republic of Benin, Cameroon, Niger, you name it, that please supply us this when we need it. So that if their stock is running down, they'll be ferrying in this, what we call tear gas, for example, from other territories unknown to you and me. And that will make, in fact, the stock will be inexhaustible. They might even go and sign contract now with people in Bosnia, Herzegovina, or wherever it is, or Albania, that keep 1 million tear gas in store for us. So the point I'm making is they are already planning their strategies on how to neutralize the process. They shouldn't have announced it or fixed a date. So I think the best thing is to call it off, because this problem, we don't need to be in a hurry to solve it. It has been with us since 1960. So there's no hurry in solving this problem. We should just solve it once and for all. So they should call off the demonstration.
You are looking for trouble, Mr. James. If you call it off, you are looking for trouble, they will come for you.
Post the link so that those who want to come in should come in. Post the link, if you don't mind.
মানসিকভাবে আমি ট্রমার ভিতরে আছি। আমি মনে করি যে আমাদের বৈষম্য বিরোধী ছাত্র আন্দোলনকে ছত্রভঙ্গ করার জন্য আমাদের সমন্বয়কদের নানা ধরনের এখানে প্রহসন এবং নাটক করা হচ্ছে। এখানে আমাকে গুম করা হয়েছিল, অন্যদেরকে নিয়ে মিডিয়ায় নানা ধরনের বিভ্রাট তৈরি করা হচ্ছে, নানা ধরনের বিভাজন সরকারের জায়গা থেকে তৈরি করা হচ্ছে।
The language that we people understand together, Hindi. Let's do this young man.
With anyone, as there is no internet connectivity. We cannot go to the market. Children cannot go to school. We can't go outside of our home, and when we step out of our home, we need to go to the police. Law enforcers detain us and no one can move in any direction.
Let's get more on this from Hassan Mahmood, a Bangladesh affairs analyst and professor of sociology at the Northwestern University in Qatar, who joins us now live from Doha. Thank you very much for your time. The government made some concessions, didn't they, on Sunday? It doesn't seem to have done any good, and tensions remain high.
Thank you for having me. I understand the issue from a different perspective. Despite government making some concession and revising the distribution of quotas, seem kind of like should be enough to quell the anger of the students, protesting students, and encourage them to go back home. But it's not happening. And it's not happening because the issue from the get-go had not been the quota itself. It is much more. So if you remember, the term that instigated the entire protest movement was Razakar, which is associated with the tiny minority of Bangladeshis who stood against the freedom fighters during the War of Independence in 1997. Right. So obviously people, I mean, it is a derogatory term and people don't want to be associated with this term. But there has been a new emerging, reality about this term. It is not just a derogatory term, but it has other practical meaning, which is dreadful. So to understand that, to understand the widespread, protest and opposition against throwing this term, labeling the student protesters as Razakar, we need to understand something more, like social processes that embed the entire thing, including the protest and the reasons for that. So I would ask you to look at a framework to understand how socially, how these kinds of social events happen. One is exclusion, right? In a society, we live together, but there are some instances, there are some factors that make a few people excluded from the majority in the society, right? And then those excluded people are dehumanized for whatever reason, for a number of factors, through different processes depending on the social context of that happening. They are dehumanized, and once they are dehumanized, they're excluded first. Second, they're dehumanized, and third, if you want, if the power elites or if the powerful section of the society wants them to get rid of them, they can do so with certain level of success. That's what has been happening in Bangladesh, at least for past 2 decades. So Razakar, we need to understand this term with another term which is more commonly used in Bangladesh, which is Shibir, the student wing. So once someone is recognized or labeled as Shibir, it almost becomes like certain that the person would be subject to exclusion, dehumanization, and sometimes even annihilation with impunity, both in the hands of law enforcement agencies and the student wings and other organizations of the ruling government.
So Hassan, I just want to cut in, if you don't mind. The Prime Minister has said that this is being orchestrated by the opposition. From what you're saying, though, this is much more organic.
Yeah. So exactly, Prime Minister's statement actually substantiates what I'm just trying to explain. So the first of January of this year, I actually Googled online, and I found that there had been 412,000 of news reports about Shibir Shandehe, which means like another term very much closely related with Razakar. So people, I mean students, were labeled as Shibir or Razakar, and they were beaten sometimes to death. And most of those news do not make into public discussions because it has been normalized that Shibir or Razakars can be beaten, can be physically abused and can be excluded without any repercussion. So when Prime Minister called the protesters, students protesters who demanded equal share or fair access to government jobs, when they were called Razakar, it was not just derogatory. They were not just hurt because they don't want to be associated with the term Razakar, but it also involved a huge amount of actual fear. Because once Prime Minister calls someone Razakar or group of people, group of students Razakar, it becomes almost immediately obvious that these students would be beaten in their dormitories, in their universities, and they would be banished actually. That's exactly what happened, or what about to happen, which did not happen because the entire student population erupted. They were not just criticizing, they erupted and they demanded that this time this label is not going to work. We are not going to stay within the binary that had been created in past at least 2 decades, but it's actually more decades, between those who are the freedom fighters and those who are the enemy of the state. Large number of people, I would say like 90% or 99% of people actually are in between these two binaries, like Razakars and freedom fighters.
Okay. Hassan, thank you very much. Hassan Mahmoud there in Doha. Thank you for your thoughts and for your insight.
Well, to unpack.
Jaraba. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, my brother. How are you?
I think I'm quit.
Yes, you did
What?
complete.
Mama Joe. Good morning. So we'll go from there, Jaraba.
Go ahead
Or
to say
Mr.
it
James, you want
again.
to start?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I say, what do you think? What do you say about our topic of discussion on what is currently happening in Bangladesh? This video that I'm playing are something that are currently happening, not maybe it's in our old video. These are freshly coming out from Bangladesh. So, and Nigerians are planning their own, and Kenyans are still on their own too. So I'm just trying to see the similarities here, what we can learn, what we can avoid. Generally, what's your
Thank you so much, Ovie, for having me, and thank James for his deep expression of his understanding, and even though uh, he has been out of Nigeria, doesn't believe in Nigeria will work again, but he still believes that it's okay for his voice to be heard to shape our struggles as a black people. Uh, what is happening is a global movement. People are tired of being tired, and they have seen that the same people who have taken taken authority, the poor and the less privileged in the society, are not ready anytime soon to give them the freedom that we all deserve as a human being to exist. So, as a result of that, there is a global movement that these minority are really the majority, in the sense that why did I say that the minority are the majority? Is come from united. When the group of people united, any kind of tribe, and they believe in common goal, they become a majority in the society, not based on tribalism or ethnicity, but based on common share of struggles. And that is what is going on globally right now. And as I bring it also to round up, uh, when we see or hear people in our own uh, uh, town square, and I mean town square, I'm talking about places like all Napolitics, Dr. Ridolph shows, and the rest of them, thinking or saying things that the minority are collateral in the society, that they don't have a say and no pushback on those people, and they keep pushing their narrative to divide us, then we get more weaker. This is a struggles of a common men and women around the world right now, for all indications that enough is enough. And thank you for bringing such important subject and air it, and giving people opportunity to contribute and to share in their struggles. I believe in 21st century, media is another way of pushing back and to let those people know that your time is have expired. And if you do not come to realization soon, you also will be in the same shoe of these people you have taken advantage of over the years, because they will locate you, they will see you, and they will come to your own place, no matter how many human shield you use. That like the dishonest Nigerian law enforcement and the people in power who think they can have their say through manipulations and through sowing seed of divide and control, that their time is up. So that is all I can say. My own message to anyone is to say, especially anywhere in our close platform, that what I have heard is that instead of us to be united against these common enemy, unqualified evil, ravaging our community, that some people think that the minority are the collateral to use. We must push back on it. And anywhere we see them, we must say, no, this is not the value we represent. And this is not the message we want to pass across to the next generation. The shameful part of it is that this rhetoric have sank in the heart of the younger generation. Some of them, that they also embrace it, the talking point, based on ethnicity or tribalism. And we that knows better must speak better, must act better, and we must put those things behind us and speak to the power with honesty and with transparency. Thank you.
Thank you, Banaba. Mama Echo, children are about to hit the street. In Bangladesh, you're already in the street. The message was clear. Quota system must go, and they stay on it. 170 people gone down, but they got what they want, and they want more after that.
Ovie,
Yes.
my children are not stupid, and they are not dumb ass. They know what they want, and they are going out for it. The music will change when those who protested, that led the protest against Goodluck Jonathan, are in power. And they even requested that the only reason that Jonathan must send police in the street is to protect the citizen, because protest is the constitutional right of every Nigerian. That is the same person preparing military and police that could not solve this problem of insecurity of APC for 9 years. They are preparing it against Nigeria children. No problem. If they think by so doing, the Nigerian people will not demand their rights and tell the government of the day that rigging his way into power is not to make the common Nigeria not to be able to eat a meal a day. He's just joking. He used 20 years to prepare to rig election to come into power. And while he was making that preparation, he did not prepare on how to solve the same problem that has been existing that he was coming to take over. And now he's running kitty kata, sending all sorts of people, calling people who does not even put mouth on the protest matter, claiming that they are the one engineering the people to go and protest. Because hunger, you don't know those when he dey in body. I hear say your people don't they sell a pint of red oil when they their body for 2,500 to feed. It's not good. So no worry. You want make your contribution to tell the world how to structure their protest item. I hear say they go meet in Sahara Reporter on S on the 25th. So make you join by 7:40 a.m. Nigeria time. Ovie. So that you go
Oh,
go tell.
they want do what did they want do? Sorry. They want
meet. So
they
that
want meet for
they want me for airspace.
do they have where have you seen? Make I read what is their requirement?
He did for Showore and other people, and I this guy announced for his page in live yesterday. Marcel, Okocha Marcel. That was where I heard it until I went to the space also to see it.
Madam H.O. and Ovie, please.
No, brother.
Madam Ovie, yes, and Ovie. This is my my contribution to what we all have been talking about. One thing that I agree with James, he's a very honorable man in our society, home and abroad, and I continue to respect. And I agree with him that they should call off the protest. Because this is my reason. The way these people are prepared for them, they have put their demand forward. I mean, they are very clever people in evil, and I think they should have taken them unaware. But it is very difficult in the digital era. But based on the fact that the police and the Ononiga, the spokesperson for president, they are all calling kind of name. They should fight them and push back on them that these innocent Gen Z are coming out for their life, and anyone that any police or anyone that bring people out to fight this generation will be faced with unstopped pushback. 170 something people have lost their life in Bangladesh, and they never stop. I tell you the truth. If 40 people lose their life in Nigeria, they will stop. So they should go back and rethink and place themselves in the position where other people will not say, I will be even eating efishala, I will be eating white soup, while other protest. That if we are not united in one core and have that power of unity, will we be the pushback from the government? We will not sustain it for even 3 days. So they should go back to the table and push back on all of those rhetoric that is putting the life of the youth in danger. And those people who are coming out, they should know that the youth know them, know their house, and know their children. And if they push back on them, they will not let it go like that. There are ways, I believe in my own life, that the only consequences to people's action is when they affected them directly. If it even is your neighbor, you may not feel it that much. But if you touch those that are close to them, touch those that they believe they are loved ones, they will think twice. So I am believing that. And now the area I disagree in some issue with Brother James, when people, I'm not holding him responsible, but he have a responsible as an elder that speak to the issue of Nigeria and black people. I think Brother James now is beyond speaking for Nigeria or Igbo. He's speaking for a common black man because after he have traveled around the world that he's privileged, he has seen how they disenfranchised black people and how we have been taken advantage. When he hear people like Pansat and the rest of the people, I believe that he have a moral obligation to say this is not what we should start for, but I'm not completely put it on him. It doesn't come from his back, from his mouth, but I believe he could have said this is not what we are when they are trying to use the minority as a collateral, not that people that we should fight together to gain the black freedom. That is the only place I think, as an elder, man in the society, that you should not stay back while some people who use this vague language should get away with it. If I believe him, if I can say the way I believe in him based on everything I've heard him, that is the only area. But I believe that they should call off the strike, go on the table of negotiation and let these people know, on Noligas and all of these people, police commissioner, all of these people coming, oh, you are coming out, you are a thug, you are a money hair, all the name calling, they should go back to the table, say, know what, this what you are doing, we will not relent, and there should be more organized, because these people will plant their people to go and vandalize innocent people's property, and they say, oh, I told you so. These are criminals. They are not here for a peaceful protest because they already have Nigeria. If you give Nigeria 5 minutes, they are criminal minded. They will manufacture something that you never believe in. So I believe that they should take them unaware somehow, and they should call it off and go back to the table of negotiation. Thank you.
Ms. Oga John, most of the things you have put on the table are being discussed in most of the various platforms. And they've also discussed what they learned from NSAS. And they are also discussing all the strategy the government is going to use against them. And they're also discussing the way forward. If there's anything that when he started initially, there were a lot of disagreement here and there, but unity has begun to take place in their midst. But both those who are interested from over here and those who are interested back home, they are winning more people to take their destiny in their hand through this protest more than ever. So we will not be labeled party that when they say one and the government say this, then they change the date. We are not changing. Wherever it leads us, let us start. Because we've gotten to a state in our country where hunger will make people to go and sell their red blood on the body for 2,500 a pint. To do what? Or where people will be so fed up and they will not begin to buy themselves. That is not in our nation before, but now it has become the order of the day, where people will sell their child to feed the other children. That is not in our nation, but that is the order of the day. We will start where it leads us, depends on what the dice the government will throw at us. But you see this, the Lord will help us and straighten us. Buying other people will not deter us. We are not going to be cowards like what we did for them when they threw the bullet in NSAS. Just like some people will say, you say your house, one gonna buy you. If you come to the street and you buy, at least you buy for a cause. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam
Mr.
Icho.
Alvin.
I'm sorry. I believe completely what you said. All my own concern, and as many as I'm in touch with, is to make sure that they have a strategy. I will try to reach out to Sore and give a female back. I'm trying to reach him. I could not get him. But this is one of the reasons that personally I have nothing against Peter Obi. I believe it's one chance that the youth of Nigerians have ever had. And I think with time, as time goes, they will come to realize why some of us say that he is a one chance. Because he has put a statement out after Ononiga used a strategy. This is a common strategy that even 5 years old we know that those statement that he is behind it is to push back, and for him also to put a statement that is not organizing or is not part of the organizer of this protest. Even if I'm not part of it, and you could have crafted a statement, I'm not part of it, but I am supporting of the Gen Z that supported me to go out and fight for their life. But for his flat deniers that he is not part of it because he's trying to answer to a man that he also has been eating in the golden spoon, a spoiled child of Nigeria, is a shame to me for Peter Obi and all his followers that they do not see that as a weak point. Instead of him to say that I'm not part of it, if I thought he choose to say that, but I'm in support of the Gen Z who are fighting for their life, than his flat denier. I think that is why I say is the one chance of this youth, and I hope this youth wake up to realize that this man is another politician that he just want to win for his own name. Thank you.
Yeah, 100% correct, Oga John, on your statement. Even when that statement came out, Shobore even defended it by saying, I am the one. So for him to not to come out to support all those statements, he cannot speak of the kind of leader he is. Because the truth is this, the situation in our country and the leadership that is killing our people and giving the average youth and the Gen Z and the child that is in the womb a hopeless tomorrow in Nigeria, needs a leader, needs somebody who will be bold enough to stand and say, you know what, we are all going out for this because we know we cannot get this from them in a platter of gold. So any person that cannot chase any of their distraction, as I will use their word, to say you are the one doing it, knowing fully well that when those election results took place, these people were ready to go out. But it was the one who calmed them down. And now they are not lying against you, and you cannot defend yourself and also support this Gen Z. It's just a story for another day. Thank
they
you.
say they don't sue buy another for 5 billion.
Excuse me, Mr.
Anyway, Mr. James, go.
Is it true that there's a demonstration in Uganda?
Yes. Yes, there is.
Okay, I see the point. All right. Then there's one funny news I read in the newspaper today. At NNPC, they have started singing. The quarrel is, the dragnet is getting wider. I think somebody has a refinery or something like that in the island of Malta, in the Mediterranean. Anyway, I sent you something. Check your WhatsApp.
So okay, still on the listing, and the president, as if the presidency has responded to the planned protest. Let me read his response. I'll bring this runaway soldier. Don't go, I go plan protest. Talking of it. I'm coming back to you. I thought we can read the response from Mr. President. This is he submitted this to via the Minister of Information, Abi. Mr. President said, okay, let me just go straight to it. Said the minister, the minister in the statement said, we discussed the issue. No, Mr. President said he listened to them and take what they said seriously. No. The minister in the statement said we are also discussing the issue of the country. No, that's not where we started from. I needed to get the full picture so that maybe they will spread propaganda. All this can you say? Well, how much of this is have now read? Not even once. Now, Najaman, now you tell me this thing. Maybe every news where they decide now they read it. All right. Idris conveyed. Idris is the minister, current minister of information. The president message said that the issue of the planned protest, Mr. President does not see any need for that. He asked them to show that the plan is asked them to await the government response to all their pleas. The planned protest, which has gained significant traction on social media, is scheduled to occur across the state and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, in August. This movement, organized by faceless group, aims to address. I don't still understand these people. Though. Why do they say faceless? When people they come and they put their name, why they don't want? Okay, we'll see. Faceless group aim to address the economic issue faced by Nigeria. The economic crisis has been exacerbated by the government recent policy, including the removal of petrol subsidy and the unification of the forex window. The president appeal comes at a time when prices of food and basic commodities have soared, leading to one of the worst inflation crises in the country's history. The minister in his statement said, we have also discussed the issue of the country generally. And Mr. President has asked me to inform Nigerians again that he listens to them, especially the young people that are trying to protest. Mr. President said he listens to them and take what they say seriously. And he is working assiduously to ensure that this country is good, but also for the future. The issue of the planned protest, Mr. President does not see any issue for that. He asked them to stop the plan and he asked them to await government response to their plea. He also listened to that. The minister said that they happened. They not expeditiously passed the bill of national minimum wage, which can see how the president is working. Oh, there's no normal blah blah blah. So I mean, is this going to work? Is this going to work?
And they have distributed bags of grains to the state governor to share. Is this going to work, or is this good enough, as you say, Mr. James?
These guys have nothing to offer. You got the point? There's no way, absolutely no way, this problem can be solved through negotiation. But I'm telling them to call off the strike because they've given them an advance notice. They are prepared for them. This is why I want them to call off the strike. No amount of negotiation can solve this problem.
Sorry, Mr. James.
I said no amount of negotiation can solve this problem we are grappling with. But the only mistake they make is that they have already given them advance notice. Just like a thief writing you a letter that I am coming. All the arsenals at your disposal will be on the ready. I mean, you put them to use. It's different from when you are taken unawares by the thief. So this is how I see it. No negotiation will ever bring this people. Are you going to negotiate with the Senate president? What are you going to talk about? In the first place, can he understand the point you are making? Because his world is different from the wall of the ordinary people. So this is how I see it. As I've said earlier on, we should not be in a hurry. What is that? We should not be in a hurry to solve this problem. We seem to be in a terrific hurry.
Mama Echo, Tinubu say, "Ain't don't increase your salary. You don't increase your children's salary. You don't give una gari and a bag of gari and get more nice patients. They they work for not just for una but for una grandchildren."
Ovie, if you really if he Tinubu understand the pain of the people, they won't be renovating house for 15 billion. They won't be buying another jet. You can't tell my children to be enduring and you are living as if you are just collecting here and there. You and all your minister and cabinet people, senator, you are just collecting as if tomorrow not day. I want to ask one question. Are they not living in a house before they enter into power? Are they not driving car before they enter into power? Don't they have their private jet before they enter into power? I want to know. When he was talking about Agbato cassava, I was thinking when he come, he want to stop insecurity and let production of agriculture, he will borrow money and put into those sections. How can he tell me? Because on Monday, in one of their useless newspaper, they said they are going to disburse 37 billion to 112 applicants for student loan. So if you divide that 27 billion with 112, and tell me if Tinubu government will actually give that 300 and something million to one student, who are they deceiving? You see, just like you said yesterday, their fight with Dangote should continue because they will begin to expose all the truth about this oil that we have and we are suffering. Are we not from Niger Delta? Most of our parents can't farm anymore. Why? Because their farmland has been destroyed. Yeah, because we know they talk. A lot of students are dropping out of school now because they can't pay the school fees. And the so-called useless student loan he claims is bringing out, they have already put their longer throat how they will eat the money. Because you can't tell me that you are giving 37 billion to only 112 students. You won't give them money to buy limousine or buy house. I won't know. And we are asking my children to keep quiet. We get quiet enough. The only thing is that if they believe in the constitution they are claiming they believe, the right of the police is to protect my children when they come out. It is not to fire against them. But one thing they should know is this. If they think they will play that card they play for them in answers and they will not disperse and go home, that they are just they are just made they go rethink their brain. Did the same Tinubu, did he not protest against Jonathan? Did he not ask Jonathan not to send police after them, but the police should come and protect them? So why will it be his turn to do the same thing that he asked Jonathan to do and he's running to Kitty, looking for weapons from Kenya, from everywhere, when one country bulala my children? Make it trial. Make it trial. But one thing we want to let them know is the fact that they have family. They have family. So maybe may notice our children don't know where their family members they. So if they buy one person, make they also know say they get family. Oh. Because if we not feel cash them, we go cash their family. When they want make peace reign, make they allow my children to make their demand, and make they begin to honor the demand one by one. But if they won't do the one way they do for answers, since we don't get opportunity to tell them what they did in answers, with the children, my children raising flag to them, telling them that we are Nigerian citizens, and they dishonor the flag, and they want to play the same card. May they ready, because now they won't burn the country, not be my children.
Eddie, I know you went underground to go and plan the protest. So give us update. But you say you want to shoot John Abba. Go ahead.
My brother, I greet you.
Oh.
Epa, James, Domosa, Mama Echo Migwa.
Oh, which Eddie be this? This is not fake Eddie.
No be Eddie when you know. This one I heard. I greet you. Yeah, I know I will speak to know a big cara, whichever one you be. Okay. Yeah. I mean, the reason why I came on was because of something that the argument that John Abba was making, trying to kind of put Peter Obi at the center of all of this. I think we should really understand what has gone on here. The first thing is, Bayo Onanuga accused Peter Obi of fomenting trouble, of arousing youths to carry out a mayhem on the nation because they lost an election. That is the accusation, right? So if Peter Obi is even supportive of this protest, that accusation does not apply to him because he's not trying to, as in the protest is not necessarily a call to mayhem. So those are two, there's a nuance there. You know, what Bayo Onanuga is trying to do is to point, or is trying to paint this picture of the protest being a call to mayhem and to pin it on Peter Obi. And that's what Mr. Peter Obi is refuting. He did not make any statement of whether he's supportive of the protest or not. He's trying to say, first, I'm not calling people to carry out mayhem in the nation. And of course, that is truth. That's the truth. Even if he's kind of sympathetic to the cause of the protest, he's not first. He's not even the one organizing the protest. And even if he were the one organizing the protest, he's not calling for mayhem. And we know that from his character, based on his antecedents. So he has every right to come out to say, you pinning this thing on me and kind of twisting the narrative of what this protest is about is defamatory to my character. So I don't see any reason why we should now try to say he's trying to distance himself from the protest, or he's trying to he's not the leader that he purports to be. I still don't get that connection. We have to really understand, because one thing that APC knows how to do very well is to frame the narrative in a way that it is not. And that's what they've done to Peter Obi. And Peter Obi, as a human being, saying, I'm not guilty of this thing. Even if, yes, ma'am. Okay, can you mention Mama Ucho, please? I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. Let me say something. I'm driving and I just pull over.
Okay.
Please give me 1 second, please. Now, do you hear my complete statement, or because I say that or what touches you was based on the term I used, that is a one chance? I said categorically. Yes, I say categorically, you have the right to even say, I'm not part of the protest. I will not be part of it. And I have a right as a citizen of Nigeria to say that it's a one chance, because the fact remains that based on INEC result, that he have 6-point-something million followers, soldiers who are ready to hit the street with him. But oftentimes, people like you who want to defend him, who want to give him a pass, who want to use English as our mother's tongue to defend him, that the word mayhem was what is to defend, than to say that I do not say these things, but I am in support of this youth, the Gen Z, to fight for their life. You don't want to make that one relevant. Rather, for you, the same person, use that narrative to have a talking point out of it, that they castigated him, or they're trying to pin him down with that language. It's irrelevant. Anyone that is familiar with politics around the world knows that those are the things, the jab they throw around. So he is intelligent, and if you have people like you that are so intelligent and eloquent and have the control of English, you guys could have helped him and put that statement out. But from all indication, it seems that you two that are saying this, you are not lesser than Obi in your ways. Rather, you are a cunning artist and the same manipulating spirit of Obi for you to say that because of that language. Listen to me. Let me. I waited for you to finish. I waited. You don't tell me your turn. You don't tell. You are not the one. You are not the one. You guys are the one that they send around. You are the one that send around to go every platform to be countering things. Listen, when I finish, I'm going to round up now. When you are talking, I do not interfere with your statement. So it's not your turn. It's not your turn to start with. I was speaking when Mama Echo interrupted.
And then I excuse Mama Echo and she allowed me because of better than I'm driving.
I allowed Mama Echo, not you.
You have no power to allow anybody here. This is not your platform. This is Obi platform. It is. He moderates it. He can say who is this to talk. He moderates it. This is how you guys capture everything. He moderates it. You do not pay any bill here.
Can you see the insults?
It's not an insult. It's not an insult. You are I have the right. You can call me anything. You come here to debunk what I say.
You're a very pretentious and conniving old man. You always act like you're a peacemaker, and all you do is insult.
I am never a peacemaker. A peacemaker for you. For you are a cunning artist. Stay back. And if you are man enough, you come out with open words, and now we have the conversation with you.
You want to
beat me? A major power play is underway in Bangladesh, with India, China, and the US competing for hard power. But this country is no lightweight. With a dense population of over 171 million people sharing its land border almost entirely with India, Bangladesh is crucial to the security calculus of the entire subcontinent. Today, Bangladesh is on the boil. Thousands of protesters are on the streets. Thousands have been injured, and at least 151 of them have been killed. Sheikh Hasina's position is increasingly unstable. The situation is tense, and the world is watching closely. Because what happens here could destabilize the entire region, giving way to yet another security threat at India's doorsteps. So what is happening in Bangladesh? What fuels the anger against Sheikh Hasina, and what is the end game here? It all starts with the liberation of Bangladesh from Pakistan in 1971. Those who fought for freedom were given a gift, a very generous one at that. 30% of all government jobs were set aside for the freedom fighters and their families. It is said that this provision helped build Bangladesh into a relatively moderate democratic society, unlike its divorced ex-Pakistan, where religious extremism and military high-handedness rear their ugly heads. This was started by Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, known as the father of Bangladesh and more endearingly as Bangabandhu, or the friend of Bengal. Hasina is emotionally attached to this legacy of her father, no doubt. But it is not just that. This quota has helped her keep her supporters close throughout the political battles with her opponents. But it has been more than 5 decades since the quota was designed. Most of the freedom fighters have passed, leaving their children and grandchildren behind. These kin of designated freedom fighters are a thin minority, sitting over a third of all government jobs. What's more, the overall job quota was set at 56%, with 30% for freedom fighters, 10% for women, 10% for underdeveloped regions, 5% for indigenous tribes, and 1% for the disabled. This has left fewer jobs for the rest, at a time when the youth employment rate is staggeringly high, almost as high as 16% by some estimates. Meanwhile, inflation remains as high as 10%. So Bangladesh's economy is struggling. There is raging inequality, national debt is soaring, and government jobs, often seen as the most stable form of employment with lifelong benefits, stand at only 3.1% of the total population, making the Bangladeshi public sector relatively small for a population its size. Every year, about 4,000 government positions open up, and more than 300,000 students compete for them. That's too many. Now, in 2018, this quota was vehemently protested against. Just as we see today, Bangladesh came at the brink 6 years ago over the same matter. Hasina's support for the provision fueled further anti-incumbency, and it was quickly co-opted by the opposition. Under pressure, Hasina acted with a sweeping executive order. She removed all reservations in civil services, removing not just the 30% quota, but also those for women and other communities. This came as a jolt for the students who wanted only the freedom fighter quota to go. Now, in 2024, the Bangladesh High Court scrapped that executive order, restoring all the reservations. Fearing that the freedom fighter quota is back at Hasina's behest, the students hit the streets one more time. Amid this unrest, the country's Supreme Court has ordered that the freedom fighter quota should remain, but stand at only 5%, with 93% of the jobs to be allocated on merit. But this has not calmed those already on the streets, and they have their eyes set on Hasina's throne. Public anger has been growing against the government of Hasina and her party, the Awami League. Earlier this month, she aggravated the situation by calling the protesters Razakars. Defending the quota, she said, and I quote, "If the grandchildren of freedom fighters do not receive benefits, who would get it? The grandchildren of Razakars?" The Razakars were a paramilitary force who were backed by Pakistan during the 1971 war and carried out genocidal atrocities against Bengalis across the country. This did not sit well with the protesters, and it made things far worse than they already were. Now, Hasina has continuously been in power for the last 15 years, since 2009. She won the recent elections amid a boycott by the opposition, which wanted elections to be conducted under a caretaker government. Her main opponents, the BNP and the Jamaat-e-Islami, have weaponized religious extremism. They hold a soft side for Pakistan, in stark contrast with Hasina's party, still driven by the freedom fighter spirit. But allegations of corruption do not help, and neither do the visuals capturing the government's high-handedness. And to a great extent, these protests have been hijacked by Hasina's bitter rivals. The opposition has been cashing in on this very shift in public sentiment, and their agenda is to drive home the message that Hasina's re-election may not be as legitimate as she might want the world to believe. And their mission to unseat her remains as active as ever. And this brings us to the next part. A great power play between India, China, and the US is underway, and Hasina is busy managing each force while attempting to keep her house in order. It's a plate full of worries. The situation spells trouble not just for Hasina, but also for the larger neighborhood, particularly India. You see, unlike her radical opponents sympathetic towards Pakistan, Hasina is a friend of India and is New Delhi's best bet at this moment. Trade ties between the two nations have unlocked new heights. They are collaborating in the fields of energy, connectivity, and access to ports. Recently, Hasina highlighted that her country wanted India to carry out a development.
Before we talk about how the protests will affect us and the neighboring country, let's focus on the issue that the people are worrying about and the method in which the people are going about it. No focus on the personalities because that's what the elite wants. The core issue is that Nigerians are not living in a good time. However, you want to interpret that. Let's stay on the issues and the method in which the people want to go about their problem. Let's forget about the personality. If we can do that, and let's go. That's exactly what the Bangladesh students are doing. Bangladesh the 30% quota must go. The prime minister used them to, he took out 25% and leave 5%. They are saying no, it must go. The whole must go. Just like in Kenya. Kenya say the bill and the people who bring the bill come, it must go. They take out the bill, they say no, that's what we want. So let's stay on the issue. I beg. Let's go.
Okay, can I just quickly chip this in and leave?
Go ahead.
Okay, Mama Echo, I'm sorry if it seems like I was raising my voice. You're a mother to all of us on this platform, so I apologize.
Before you talk, you see, what I wanted to chip in before Oga requested the floor is this. There is a game with Bayo's statement. He threw that out so that Obi can jump on it and persuade the youth not to go out. That is what they want him to achieve for them. That is the purpose of that statement. But to buy a Nanuga surprise, he no work and he no go work. Over to you, Eddie.
Thank you very much, Ma. You really hit it the nail on the head, because yeah, that was really the plan. And as Ovie wisely said, we shouldn't really dwell on the personalities, because that's what they want us to do. And that's why I actually came on the platform. This whole issue of making it about Obi, it just doesn't help anybody's cause. The whole idea is everybody is suffering, whether people that supported Obi or people that supported Tinubu, they are suffering. So this whole idea of you didn't see the Kenyans even propping up or discussing any opposition leader. You don't see that with the Bangladeshi. Why should that be the case with Nigeria? Whatever, in short, from the little I've gathered when I listen to the spaces, most of the leaders are like, Obi should just do this is not about him. If possible, he should even leave the country. But this does not concern him, right? So I don't know why we want to make him the central figure in this protest. We're just really playing into the hands of the government. It's just the same thing they are doing, trying to make this about Igbos, make this about Hausas and all of that, And we should also realize that Mr. Obi is a private citizen. He can decide how he interacts when accusations are made about him. But that being said, to the point that Ovie said about the methodology, I would prefer we have a peaceful but very firm and resolute protest, in that we don't go about destroying things, but we should be very firm and resolute about what we want. Understand? So that's I believe there are constitutional.
From your own end, what do you think we want? Or from the protester view, what do you think they are asking for?
I mean, I've not really. I mean, I can't remember the exact demands, but I know a few things that have been said in spaces where, first, this issue of reduction of the salaries of public office holders. That one, I know it's something that's really important to people. The issue of reducing the pump prices, channeling whatever is recovered from those excess remunerations of public office holders should be, moved towards paying the subsidies, and then a couple of other things which I can't really remember now. I know some people are asking that the 2014 confab reports be implemented, and I think those are meritorious demands that the government should actually consider. After all, the same government was always talking about they want to restructure and all of that, and those are some of the things that confab really discussed.
Now, what is the end goal? And the end goal is that if the presidency come out, just like they're already doing, they say, oh, we have settled the issue of minimum wage, which is one of the demands, like the show owners that demand of they say 250, but The Labour Party would rely on democracy, give them 70 times. No, here's my question.
Okay.
So if the government come out and say, okay, and make selection from all the demands, okay, I will make this. Would that be enough to the project to be called off? I'm asking this because just like in Kenya, the Kenya said the bills and the people that brought the bill must go, which is pretty much the entire government, right? The man won't save himself. He let go of the bill. He let go of a few of the cabinet. They are still saying no. They want the whole thing. Bangladesh students, as we hardly watch, they said they want the 30% quota system gone. They do back and forth. The presidency responded by taking out 25%, leaving 5%. They said no, right? He has to go. If he don't want to let go, that means she is not ready to. She has to go too if she's not ready to do that. So that's why I'm asking you that question. You're making list of demands. The presidency came out and said, okay, I'll meet this, I'll meet that, I'll meet that. Will that be enough? Or are there specific one that they have to meet, or they have to say what is the end goal and how long? Whatever it's going to take, or what?
Yes. So you actually make a very good point, very brilliant question. I think if you even now you just told me there are some things that Shuwore said about minimum wage and all of that. I think that's just his own personal desire concerning this protest. He's been saying this even when he contested in 2019 that the average Nigerian should be receiving at least 100,000 and all of that. But I think from what I see, the general feel, and if you even go by the theme of the protest, is that people want bad governance to end. And I don't know. It's quite. I don't know.
Now that statement to me is political. What does that even mean? Let
me continue.
Okay.
The whole idea of bad governance ending is actually tied to the system, and that system is something that they want to change. And that's why this whole issue of going back to the 2014 confab and going to those recommendations, including regional governments, review of the constitution. So I think those are really very far-reaching demands. How the government is going to be able to do this is what I don't know. And how resolute the people are going to be to make sure that is what is done, I can't, to be honest with you, I don't have the ability to know that. But that I know is the demand that this system needs to change. At least let it be that we have, let politics not be something that's so attractive from a financial perspective. Let it be that the people are closer to the government. So those are the fundamental things, and it starts from restructuring, reviewing the constitution to reflect the aspirations of everybody in the country. So it's not just a matter of increase minimum wage, reduce fuel price. It's a very deep demand that these people are making. If it works, it's going to be better for the country, but I don't know how resolute we can be to make those demands, because we know the government, they will start negotiating.
All right. Mr. James, you want to say something?
Yeah, you see, as I've said earlier on, no amount of negotiation will solve this problem. The damage these guys have done to the economy for the past 1 year is monumental, it's astronomical. And they cannot repair it if care is not taken within our lifetime. So no amount of sitting down to work out the modalities, it will amount to class suicide. So that is how I see it. One thing is certain, the whole of them should be swept out of the government. They should just step aside. They failed us. They failed us as a class. So we are tired of saying we are tired. The whole of them must go to start with. But how they will go, that is the modalities we should work out. I don't want it to happen in this coming demonstration, which should be called off, because they are prepared. They are prepared to die than to be flushed out of power through this coming demonstration. That is how I see
it. Janaba.
Thank you. I'm sorry for the Can you hear me?
Something is up with Ghana. Is Eddie
Can you
still
hear me?
there? Let me show you the. Now tomorrow, I really wanted to talk about this. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I can hear you okay.
Ah, okay. These are the demands of this was on the Sahara reporters. Let me see if I can go. I don't know what's wrong with my connection.
Wait. Are
Getting
they
to
saying,
okay. So
Mr. Obi, are they saying that if all these demands are not met, they will leave? I mean, they will not leave the streets, or they just want part of the demand to be met, or
that's what I
they're
found out.
using, they're using it as a bait to be called for negotiation. What I don't know their strategy anyway. Maybe they have something else in mind. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I wish we had somebody who is part of the hardcore planning. I don't know. But this is what they posted. They say, according to show, the 14 demands are one, scrap the 1999 constitution and replace it with people's made constitution for the federal government of Nigeria through a sovereign national conference to be immediately followed by a national referendum. Two, toast the Senate arm of the Nigerian legislative system, keep the House of Representatives, and make lawmaking a part-time endeavor. Three, pay Nigerians workers a minimum wage of nothing less than 250,000 monthly. Four, invest heavily in education and give Nigerian students grants, not loans. Aggressively pursue free and compulsory education for children across Nigeria. Blah, 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 blah. So five is releasing Nnamdi Kanu, releasing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally and demilitarize the southeast. Six, rationalize public renationalize publicly owned enterprise, so to government officials and cronies. Seven, reinstate a corrupt-free subsidy regime to reduce hunger, starvation, and multi-dimensional poverty. Eight, prove past and present Nigerian leaders who have looted the treasury, recover their loot, and deposit in a special account to fund education, healthcare, and infrastructure. Restructuring of Nigeria to accommodate Nigerian diversity, resource control, decentralization, and regional development. A reform of security agencies to stop continuous human rights violation and duplication of security agencies and enhance the physical security of Nigerian citizens. 11. Establish a special energy fund immediately to drive massive corruption-free power sector development. 12. Immediate reconstitution of the National Electoral Body and the Independent National Electoral Commission to remove corrupt individual and partisan hacks appointed mandate election. 13. Massive investments in public work and industrialization will help employ Nigeria teeming youth. 14. Massive shake-up in the Nigerian judiciary to remove cabal of corrupt generation of judges and judicial officials that continue to delay everyday citizen access to deny everyday access citizen access to real justice. Showore has declared the days of rage protest to coincide with the 5th anniversary of the 1999 revolution now demonstration. Is urging urging nationwide mobilization and calling for people to join the movement following the Sahara reporters WhatsApp group. Or the WhatsApp group. I don't know. Attach yourself to the idea. I mean, okay, this is my problem with this. When you are asking for the constitution to go, I think that is enough. Every other thing, other item that I just listed, I'll just be listed where I read also. They are under the constitution, the new constitution that he is proposing. We take care of that. So that's why I'm confused. Why can't you just say this constitution has to go or this government have to go? Because then every other thing that we achieve will follow suit. But when you put this plenty like that, as far as I'm concerned, this is a campaign manifesto. I mean, somebody can prove me wrong. Eddie, are you this serious? Okay,
Ove, I never knew that your weed can make you reason like this.
Wow.
Because it's a simple thing. It's either you call the government to go or drop the constitution, and that fix everything. Then all those numbers, and this is how they confuses us. And that is more of a more problem. And the ordinary man will just join the wagon just for the sake of too much trenchy in outside language. All of these things, either you call for the government to go or call for a new constitution, that take care of all what is listing from 1 to 14. Nevertheless, that's why I say you articulated it by saying.
Sorry, Jonathan.
Go ahead.
He said now 5th anniversary of revolution now. That was after his defeat at the election, which they are accusing Obi of. Obi where they flex for somewhere. So I don't understand. What's the
When it comes to that, it's not on that issue. I do not speak to it on Obi side of it. I don't blame Obi or anything. When I come and speak about Obi issues on the way, it's because of the way he's defending himself, even going for suing the guy. And whosoever is the spokesperson that came on this platform right now, and I want to make it clear to you, if you don't know me, Obi, and I've said it over and over, I make peace when it's necessary, I fight when it's necessary. So don't classify me as a peacemaker or as a fighter. I have the right to defend myself and make my voice be heard, and this is who I am, and this is anyone around me, this is what I encourage them to do. So let's put that behind. So don't consider me as a peacemaker or as a fighter. It depends on whatever come on my way. Bible tells me I should fight a good fight of faith. All right. Now, coming to this issue is that it's very complicated because it's either my friend, who I can call my friend, make a case of the leave it for the Gen Z, or lead and make it in neutral and not political. That is what I would love to see from him, because this demand of revolution now, if he can't champion it alone based on his own idea and based on his own political agenda. I don't believe in manifesto, first and foremost, whether you write it from 8 to 100. I never hear manifesto in organized society. They run on ideology or whatever the party you represent and the ideology of that party. So that Nigerian can deceive themselves and say, oh, this is my manifesto I put there. Since I was born, manifesto has been there. It never worked. If people just tell you lies that this is what I would do, politicians, what they do is lying and lying and lying around the world. So anybody that buy to manifesto, you're on your own. If you believe that and it keep you going for 1 or 2 minutes, that's fine. But I don't believe in anybody putting manifesto. So I believe that this, like I said, I'm in support of James. They should not go further with this protest. Let's see these coming days that this bring the current government to the table to negotiate or to have a word with the people, but not to take them unaware. If you give Nigerians 5 minutes, they'll prepare for their lifetime. That's my own advice. And for what you have said, I don't think that whatever Sowore put there should be. It's either you demand for a total abandonment of the constitution, or the government must go so that people can stick with one thing. Thank you.
The thing is this: if we look at their demands, Other people have their similar demand. But if you look at it critically, if one not affects you directly, another one affects you directly. So I think those demands were put that way so that Nigerians can connect to why they are protesting in the first place. So worker will be connected to the salary and other demands, other people are connected to it. But the overall thing, just like our father, Oga James said, the ultimate may not have been put out there for us, which we all know. And they also have said it. When they come out, the music of the government will determine the next move. So for us to say we should go back now, I don't think that is wise, because we will
But
be like
Mama Echo. Wait, may I ask you now a question I want to ask you. If you say, I don't know the next move, I be the Mikoko or this thing, why blaming those who are now also making accusation based on the information themselves are curious about? So they are assumption, they are accusing whoever they are accusing just based on you too, because you just agree to stand by and say, okay, you'll take whatever it comes. But those people are saying, no, whatever that is coming, these people are responsible. So you can't blame them if that is the case. If you yourself are still struggling to actually understand why the protest is going to happen. Yes.
The people, Bayo, we know they are all playing different cards. Before they go
And
to
the opposite team now, you expect Bayo to do what he's doing. That's what he should do in the opposite team. That's the normal thing they do.
I'm not
So
saying he shouldn't do whatever he should do. But Bayo, if he's not lying to his teeth, people from the north have spoken. He didn't mention their name. People from the south, some of them had chest out, we are behind it. He's not mentioning their name. So the only thing I will conclude with is what he said is for Peter Obi to come and tell the youth not to go out. That is what he wants to achieve. He didn't just put it out because he thought he feel Peter Obi is doing it. No. He put it out there so that Peter Obi will come and play the same card that was played when they rigged that election. But this is not election we are talking about. This is hunger. And that's when they're hungry, now angry man. So make them match their brain. And the funny thing is that these same people who are now fighting my children not to protest, they protested during Goodluck Jonathan time. They even said the police should come and protect. They're the same people. So the only thing they can do is prepare the police to protect them.
Mama Echo, I don't expect now to focus on what your opponent is doing. If you take their shoe, you will do the same thing. When then they see the protest, the government of the day were playing the role they are playing now. So I think they are achieving their aim. If you are accusing them of distraction, they are actually achieving their aim. Because instead of
if it did come out, me, I won't talk about it, but that does not stop my children from planning to protest.
Okay, and Nanjama are talking about NSAS was clear now. It was NSAS, then every other thing follow. That's a clear, they know what they want. That was well defined. And it's way I'm making the same case now, Nanjama. So every other thing follow, but the message was clear and something. You understand? So, but anyway, Black League. Oh, I think I don't even bring you in. Black League, which group are you leading? What's your demand?
Good day, everyone. Mr. Jonaba, Ed, Mama Echo, Mr. James. I hope everyone is doing well today.
Yeah, sorry, Black League. The Bangladesh protest, there was diaspora wing to it too. So they are in diaspora. The Bangladesh diaspora also joined the protest. About 54 people were arrested in UAE. So there was an international dimension to it. Why Kenya on? there was no international that joined them, but they just utilized the internet. But the heart of Bangladesh, they are in diasporans, play a vital role too. They join in the protest wherever they were. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, well, every country is unique and has its own unique experience. But for us in Nigeria, I don't know of any country that they are negotiating protests. Or is it that the people are asking for permission from the government to protest? At least that's what it looks like to me. So if you're asking for permission to protest, what's the point of protesting in the first place? You know, because the person you're asking for permission from is the government. You think government will sit down and say, yes, go and protest, when they can see what's happening to their brother in Kenya? So of course they are not going to support the protest. So I think the problem is we are not there yet. I think we just get carried away by the sensation in the media. They say, oh, the headlines about Kenya and the.
What do you mean we are not there yet? We are not where we are not where yet.
No, we are not there yet in the sense that we don't even. First of all, Kenyans are very patriotic people. We are not. That's the first thing. Anybody who knows any Kenyan, it doesn't matter. And Kenya is also diverse, as Nigeria is, although we are more diverse. But Kenya also has multiple ethnic groups. They have their own version of the Fulanis, the Hausa Fulanis, you know, the Muslim part of Kenya. They have the Christian part. They have the part where they just believe in their African religions, multiple ethnicities, but yet they see themselves as Kenyan. That's it. When it comes to interrogating policies of the government. So that is on one hand, we are not there yet. That's what I mean by that, Ovie. Because I mean, first of all, have you ever heard a Kenyan bringing down his or her country in public? This is an open
No.
question to anybody because I've been around a lot of Kenyans. I've never heard it. They are going through big problems in Kenya, but you will never hear them demarcate their country in public. When they do it, is among themselves when they speak. But Nigeria, on the other hand, matter of fact, that's a hobby for Nigerians. Is we go to public places where there are non-Nigerians listening or watching us. That's where we go and demarcate our country, not knowing we are demarcating ourselves. So that's another reason why I say we are not there yet. We should stop comparing ourselves to people who are way ahead of us. Kenyans are way ahead of
We
us.
are not necessarily compete. We are not necessarily comparing. We are trying to see if we can draw let's up.
It will not work.
We
It
are
will
seeing
not work.
success.
Protests will not work, my brother. Protests will not work. Not right now in Nigeria. We are not fed up yet. We are not.
The issue, my friend, the issue is this. In Nigeria, we don't worship anybody. We are irreverent. We don't worship anybody. And not only that, among ourselves, we hide nothing about ourselves. For example, look at our Nigerian movies. They feature the good, the bad, and the ugly parts of Nigeria. If you watch Nigerian movies, all these movies, they go out of the country. And it is, the production is approved by the government of Nigeria. Every country has its own characteristics. So if people are dying in silence, they don't want other people to hear, that is their cup of tea. In Nigeria, we are not like that. If, for example, I commit rape, for example, my age notwithstanding, or my status in society notwithstanding, Nigerian newspapers will tear me to pieces. And also, if I do anything commendable, they will bring it to public attention. That is how we live in Nigeria. That is our characteristics, and we should be proud of it. That is how I see it, my friend.
You're right in that, Mr. James. Also, another dimension I want to bring to the protests in Kenya is not as organic as we think it is. is not solely run by the people. It's not solely people-centered.
It's funded. It's funded by international, at least a Ford. The president, Ford, one Ford organization. Because I heard the president press release that is earlier this week. But the organization that is Ford, one Ford organization from Western world. It's funded it.
Yeah. Yes. There's the dimension coming from the outside, and there's also the one coming from within Kenya. That's the opposition within Kenya. Because of course Ruto had a tough election for him to emerge. And also anybody who knows Ruto has his problems. Of course, we're talking politics. No one is an angel. But we're talking in general terms at the same time. Ruto is I think he's somewhat of a Pan-Africanist in the making. And his vision for Kenya is to see a Kenya that is stable, free of, interference from the Western world. And also he wants to see the same for Africa. That's why as we speak, there are police officers doing peacekeeping missions, helping Haiti stabilize. Now, Haiti is not even a country within the shores of Africa, but there are people of African descent in Haiti. So you can see the steps, some of the steps this man has taken towards having a Pan-Africanist idea, although he's not there yet. Yeah, although he's not there. So of course, the opposition within Kenya, the people he defeated to win elections, they are not happy about that. Of course, they are trying to get him out of the way. And there's it's a worldwide template. In every part of the world, there's dissatisfaction, right? So all you have to do is fund that dissatisfaction, fund that opposition, and you can create as much chaos as you wish. So I think that is another angle that we are not looking at in the Kenyan dilemma. It's not solely people-centered. Yes, their grievances are valid, but they are also being funded and being pushed to blow the dissatisfaction out of proportion so that Ruto can have an unstable government and eventually he gives way. That's why they are now starting to say, first of all, whatever policies he had that didn't go down well with them, he tried to reverse it. Then he went further to try to sack some of his appointees. But that's not enough. The protesters are saying he himself must go. But my only problem with the demand of the protesters is they are not providing a template on the way forward. So you're saying the government itself, the entire government should be collapsed and replaced by what? What's the path forward? Would another elections be conducted? When would it be conducted? Or is it an indirect way of inviting the military?
No.
Once you say Ruto must go,
this is what they want.
Of course, Kenya has a military.
They say they have enough time. They are giving the government time to organize another election. They are not saying, they say they are giving this organize another election. That they have all the time. Take all their time to organize the election. They are waiting. 6 months, they will take this to organize the election. So they actually have a plan.
Well, so it's not, to me, it's not straightforward. At first, it was policies of the government, and now they are questioning the legitimacy of the government itself.
No, they are not
now the problem is, go and conduct another election. So
they are not questioning the legitimacy. They are not questioning the legitimacy. They are questioning their capacity to govern, their ability. They are not competent. That's what they are saying. They identified a lot of people in the government who are not supposed to be in the government. You understand? And so it's not that they are just making a bogus statement. No, they know they actually they are just as we are pointing Akpabio is not supposed to be there. Aline is not supposed to be there.
Exactly. That's what I'm telling you. Every angle of the world, even in where you are, they will tell you some people in government that are not supposed to be there.
But they are asking for election.
Yeah, my submission is just to point us in the direction that
Yeah.
it's not solely organic. There are things happening behind the scenes. And of course, the police have been infiltrating the protesters to see this. At first, they didn't even know who the leaders were. But of course, as you know how police and secret service of different countries work, they disguised themselves, acted like they were protesters themselves, attended all the meetings, and that's how they were able to find some of the leaders earlier in the earlier stages of the protest. Uh, However, we just need to look at the fact that yes, there's an element of opposition in this. Now, their grievances, yes, most of their grievances are legitimate, but we should not forget that it's all politics, all now politics. From within and outside Kenya is happening. Also, another reason why it will not happen in Nigeria, we don't even have the opposition to fuel this type of legitimate demands. So now we have this agreement, what type of organized opposition do you think is there right now in the country?
Obedience via labor.
That's my problem with you over here.
And that's what what about we are talking about opposition.
John Abba was commending you for making sense earlier.
Hold on.
I don't know what's happening now.
You said opposition. I'm giving you the opposition that are out there that are kind of formidable. Obedient and the Take It Back movement led by Showri AAC. Are they not formidable enough?
The Obedience are floating in thin air. AAC is nowhere to be found.
Black League, can I ask you a question, please?
Please go ahead.
Okay, you said something about the opposition in Kenya. Are you aware of a power sharing arrangement that Ruto floated recently, and the protesters rejected it?
Yes, I'm aware. And Kenya is not new to this power sharing formula.
So does that tell you something about whether the people even care about the opposition or not? Because you asserted earlier that the opposition might be behind this, but if they were behind it, you should have seen some sort of positive reception of that power sharing arrangement, or at least some sort of conversation about how the opposition should take over.
No, the opposition wants the full cake. Ruto attempted to give them a piece of the cake and they rejected. So it's still all politics. And that's why they rejected it. They want the full cake.
What I mean is the people rejected the opposition. The people rejected the opposition is what I'm saying.
There are elements of the opposition working. It's not solely the people just organizing this thing in Kenya. It's definitely not. The Kenyan politics as we know it, and Ruto, even how Ruto emerged, there's still a lot of opposition. And the likes of the Raila Odingas, of course, they are over there leading and seeing that Ruto gets away. First of all, the Raila Odingas, they are like indicator of the Obasanjos. They look at the Rutos as young, upcoming boys. You know, it's somewhat a similar system in terms of mindset and how they play their politics and how it's played in Nigeria. So, of course, they have youths that have legitimate demands that are always there ready to protest and do all that. So what the opposition is doing, they're just using that energy of the youth, you know, and try to direct it to get what they want. The same thing, almost similar thing happened during the military when the likes of the current president in Nigeria, they were fighting to bring back military, to bring back democracy. The likes of Showore, they were also that they were the young bloods. So what happened when military eventually left? No, the guys on the street had to take the back seat. Is the opposition, the main political power now took over, which is what we are still experiencing today. So similar template is being played all around the world, really, not just Africa. I think Kenya is just one of them, and there's also the dimension, as German said, coming from outside of Kenya, because Ruto has been stepping on toes. outside of the country.
Yeah, Blackleg. I think you watched an interview with Obasanjo yesterday. I believe yesterday.
No, I saw an interview with there's one of the most popular journalists over there in Kenya. I keep forgetting his name. Ovia, I sent you that interview. Where he
the Kenya youth with Obasanjo, they rejected Obasanjo. They
no,
just
I didn't see the one with the youth and Obasanjo. It was with the famous journalist over there.
Yeah, so when we are talking about protest, sorry, correct. When we are talking about protest, people would not refer Tinubu protest. When Tinubu they protest, what were they looking for? They were looking for power. They were not protesting because of sweat subsidy. They were protesting because they want Jonathan to get out of there and take the power. Which they take. We now you said that people want to protest.
When I talked about Tinubu's protest, I'm talking about during military, not the recent.
No. I'm just coming from another angle about Nigeria. I'm not talking about Kenya again. I'm just coming from Nigeria aspects. Yeah. So you guys now, that want to protest and the people that want to protest now, what are you protesting for? You are giving 15 demand. Okay, Tinubu that protest, I know that sponsor all the Occupy Nigeria. They know the sponsor. Now they are accusing you that is political. You are not want to fight them and say no, it's not. That is politics. They must owe somebody. Those who are more louder, they are going to hold them accountable. They are going to find a way to chastise them out of the way, to submit, to run away, to protest. I don't know why we come here, everybody go online, start fighting each other because they thought to be, why is that our problem? So now you want to, now the video that is circulating, so you want to remove Tinubu must go and put Obi, is that what they want? No. So why are you defending? We have to defend one politician for one politician. Let us face what we want in the country. The system should collapse. Let it collapse. Revolution now, everything should go. We want to conduct. We want to come there and find a way to govern ourselves. But that is what we should focus. Not that because do you think Obi will be more better than Tinubu, or more better than Atiku, or more better than Obasanjo? No, totally no. I totally don't believe in all those people. All those people are just there to come and grant power. This is what will be happening in Nigeria. Anyone that go, the one that will come will be worse dictatorship than the other one. We don't need all those people. All those who are being politics, who are being power, they should get out of the way. And let the youth. That is why I don't understand even the Nigerian Gen-Z. You are there for 30 years, 25 years. Can't you be a Senate? Can't you be a House of Rep member that you are still waiting for one old man to come and make decision for you? This is the problem. You still believe Obi must come to be there before Nigeria will be good. How?
Nigerian.
Yeah.
Have you been on the spaces for this protest? Because what my understanding from the space is that they are not even willing to center Obi in this protest. They are not willing to have use this as an opportunity for Obi to come in, because from what they actually even said was that Obi should go far, that this does not concern him. So I don't think that's the mindset.
Eddie, see, like you don't get what I'm trying to say. I am talking about people who are coming online. Whenever anybody speak about Obi or the government, because the government is saying, they should hold Obi accountable. We, the citizen, the Gen-Z that say they want to take back their country, they want to rule their country by themselves. For them to be thinking, giving a template, what they want, how they are going to rule the country, they are going to run the country, they are still fighting for another politician that will become a more dictator online. That is not supposed to be your problem again. Let them go, let Obi go. The other one say, look at this, the other video. No, everything that happened in 2023 will be abolished. You want to tell me that is not political? What concern you with what happened in 2023? Is that what you are going to do? You want to remove an elected president to put your own. That is what you mean by that word. That is what all this video. Look at what Obama say. He mentioned all the old. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Bayo Ononuga mentioned all the old platform that they are championing everything. He mentioned it. Nobody want to look that. He give name, he give everything. I read it.
Can you measure my name? On a quality to there.
Love you, this guy. The other one you do. First one of Obi. I have all of them with me. Yeah, you understand. So we don't have to be thinking of how to defend one politician. That is my anger with all these things.
Nigerian, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You are of the opinion that this, if we want to change the system, the Gen Z should actually take charge of the country, right? That if the government goes, the Gen Z should be ready. But you're still saying the same thing with those people who are saying that 2023 needs to be totally scrapped, because for anything to even happen, including the Gen Z taking over, whatever has been done in 2023 apparently will have to be annulled. So
no. You don't need to wait. No, if I'm you know, please, no. If I'm you want to, if I'm you are saying this thing to me, that, for example, I have an issue with you, or you have an anger with me, and you come as a third party, you want to come and settle, you are not telling me, just leave that first settlement. Automatically, I know you have another ulterior motive to fight for the person that I have issue with. That is what you are telling me. The truth of the matter, all this argument will not take us anywhere. You walk the wait now. Before, you would not say, okay, they should scrap the 1999 constitution. Are you going to rule the country? How are you going to rule the country? Okay, they should conduct another election. Who will be there? They are the same people that will say, okay, I'm leaving so date, 6 months. They will conduct an election, put themselves again there, and they win. You will not tell you, no, we don't want you again. When they contest another election and they win again. So you are going to where you don't want. You should go there, take the power, let them go, resign them, look for you have somebody that you want to put there, your Jay-Z. Then by then you have the power, change the constitution there. You don't tell them to scrap the constitution. The country must be ruled with a constitution. Even if you want to conduct an election, you must conduct under the constitution. Then you have to know all these things.
What you're saying is that we should not make these demands of the government. We should actually become the government. Is that what you're saying?
That is it, because we are saying the whole cargo have been leading us for years. It's more than 60-something years, no result. Everybody who have been ruling Nigeria, unless during the military, since all the old democracy from Shagari to this 1999 of them, all these old cargo people who have ruled the country before, who have become 80-something years. You people say we don't know them because they are all analog. Now we are computer brain. We want to change it. We want to bring what is in America to Nigeria. We want to bring what is in UK to Nigeria. You have the brain, you have the energy. Why are you now still defending, going on social media, defending one person who will be a governor? What is the antecedent? That Abraham is not Dubai, or Kwankwaso, that Kwame is not Dubai. What are you still believing those people for? See, we have to believe all these people are our enemy. That is how we have to, we know what to do in that Nigeria. For you to be defending one for one is better, this one is better. No, because automatically it shows that because you hate Tinubu, that is why opposition is sponsoring you. That is the translation, which Obayo guy is doing. I think his information has started it. He have to, his job, let me tell you what his job is. Whatever you say, you have to spin it. That is his job. His own government. You have to know what Obayo guy's job is.
Man, are you in the same camp with are you in the same camp with Black League, who believe that we are not there yet? No, we cannot organize ourselves.
Honestly, I've said it, I've told you before, but you shot me down the other day. And we are not ready. Okay, we are not ready, honestly. A date, what I said, what I told you that day, I said, how can you protest and have a date? Did they start have a date? All that get dates. I give you one part, but I say all that get dates. When we are there, we'll go out. By then, all these politicians, we will look them from 90. That is why I'll take one thing from Sowore. Anytime he's campaigning, he say anybody from 1960 is going to jail all of them. That's why that's only one word I only love about it. But the rest, those blah. You don't want to make the message go far.
Why you not going to join in camp for this protest? Why you not going to join in camp for this protest? Also calling for protest.
Waiting, you don't see so you don't politicize you now. Which one be bad governor? You are putting releasing at the kind of condition. And what concern under the kind of concern judiciary concern a bad government? What kind of something is that one? That's a politicized already. This is politicized, so you cannot use me. You cannot use me for your own gain.
Najama, do you remember during EndSARS? For your gain, my brother. During EndSARS, Sowore was also trying to do the same thing, and the people revolted.
That is what they do. They chase him away. Yeah. Thank you. It came to Lekki, they chase him away. They changed so whatever. That EndSARS would have been very successful because the youth wanted to take over power. They were not having anybody. You understand? But because later it was hijacked and whatever come, they hijack it, start burning, go and burn airports, go and burn so. That is what bastardized that essence. You understand? That is the way. You cannot tell me, you now as a D, you are telling me you want to, these people are be there, no results, that you, I think, cannot be INEC chairman. So why are you still want Obi to go there, and we still go and bring up people from PDP, from all your political DC, put them there in the last time after 2 years again? Okay, look at Rotus. Rotus was loved like Obi in Kenya. But today, look at what is happening. See, we have to believe all these people are just one. They are all one. Look there as descent. None of them should go there. None of them want anybody who have touched politics, don't come here.
But
fresh blood, come, let us be there. Be dragging it for.
There's no explicit demands for any of these politicians to take over. The fact that they are saying they want a constitutional review does not mean they want Peter Obi to be the president. Those things are not explicit.
We are not saying Peter Obi. Wait, no, don't twist my word. This is what I'm trying to tell you. I've said it 3 times. I'm not saying Peter Obi want to take over. What I'm trying to say, we should not be defending because people are because people are not supporting Obi, or people are saying what Odonuga said is true. We don't have to. That doesn't have to be our problem. These are politics. This is the job of Obayo Odonuga to do. Obi and Sudi, let them go to court. You understand? That is not supposed to be our problem. Let them talk whatever they are talking. All of them meet, they marry themselves, they enjoy the party, they dine overnight with party. We are here, nothing. So we don't have to be defending anyone. No one is better. No one is better. You understand? Look at Macron. What is it? Yeah.
Nigerian, are you joining Mr. James and Jonathan in calling out? They say that you call off this, right? Is that what you are saying?
Yeah.
Did you call off this, right?
No. There is section 40 of the Constitution. Politics in it. For you, for somebody to be saying they want to burn down the country, that is what I don't. No.
You know why I asked you? You said
no.
We are not ready. We no go assist us. We are not there. We are not right here. Just like Blacklist.
Blacklist. Yeah.
Right. And I think then to follow it up, Mr. James and Janoba say they should call off this right. Right.
Yeah.
In a way, you agree with Mr. James, but you don't agree. No, you agree with Blacklist. You don't agree with Mr. James and John Abba, because you say the constitution will protest. So
yeah,
you understand my question. So I don't know where you did.
The constitution give you right to protest, not a right to cause anarchy. What these people out there want to cause, we have evidence that all from all I go to all space. We have evidence. We have medicine. What they want to do is anarchy. With the little one we have, the little infrastructure, you cannot say you want to give us new Nigeria, you want to burn the one we have. If you want to burn it out, tell us, let everybody burn it out, burn it down. Tell us, let's everybody go out and burn it down.
Nigerian.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, mama.
There is already anarchy in Nigeria now. You don't hear me?
Anarchy, not be for Nigeria, just for who's anarchy in Nigeria?
Not be my children when want protest, they cause anarchy. Now your government, now they cause anarchy. You don't hear
our
me?
government, everybody government.
No.
This one might be the problem. We see the right to the defend one for one. Let's talk what we want and leave my leave my government, not be my government. It's not going to change anything.
Now your government, because
that's what the
the
issue.
into power. When
Oh my God! You see now? Okay, you see now? That is why they are saying it's political. You see now? You know they tell us again saying that political.
If you like
What is comparing you now?
whether na political, I been a politician, no.
Mama, not be argue. We need to argue down. Not be argue be the issue. Argue cannot give us anything. So what we are saying,
there is no
we should
time
talk.
for protest. You dey hear me? No time when they write for protest.
This protest where you get, you don't, Mama, you don't see protest where they get it.
Leave them.
They ask you.
They have their reason of doing that. Una
No.
go say they no plan. Una go
So
say
you dey tell. So our brother, they write letter come to you say, I beg go, Nigerian, they come your house, come carry your pot of soup or your television or wait for me. I'll come go to that. they drink champagne, they wait, Abi.
No worry, may they do anything, but anyhow they choose. If they teach on answers, now be the way they do for answer, now they go the card when they go still play and they go leave street for them. Now line, now they talk.
Not be okay, not be the same thing that they talk so that. Not be the same thing that they talk. Say, waiting that they plan. All this one not be in. Which one be 14 this thing? Scrap constitution, pay 250. They don't change salary, that don't finish. They don't carry food 180 days, import, duty free, miss everything. You don't okay now they don't do constitutional review for this thing, they don't pass a police act now. They don't they don't give the autonomy now for local government. Then who is that? The president said that make their demand. How many demand they don't send today?
Wait, Najama.
Yeah.
You see the people when we know, they're not going to meet any of those demands. Do you understand? Instead of them to meet one demand, they go carry military, come pursue my children. So we know them as they know us.
No, they say they are not leaving, even though they say military shoot. They say military shoot one, they will burn you, they will burn the whole country down. We have the evidence here. So
number one, when my children come out for answers, they buy them, they run come on. But this time, hunger day town. You dey hear? Hunger they buy people. People get frustrated, they go buy themselves every day. People they sell their a pint of blood red oil for 2,500 to eat.
okay, wait now, mama, wait now. Hunger day land. Now Tinubu now go come give you road, or become give you primary health care, be primary school for your state. Not be your governor. Which governor they good for Nigeria? Why are they not saying let everybody stay in street, protest against the governor? Why?
Wait.
Why?
Wait.
My governor they good. I don't say governor they good. Not to protest, drive up.
Najama, if I be president of Nigeria today,
yeah,
and they give them allocation and they not they show result. If you don't show result of what you use the money do for people, you not go collect the next allocation.
Now so because you don't understand government. Which power? Wait now, which power God president get to see local government chairman monitor
your argument not the because
no, because you don't go that way up.
Make I make a point.
Wait. If they give me no. If they give me another thing, they ask me another question. So I need to answer
that. Sorry, sir, I use your time. The things when they cause the hardship for Nigeria, now federal level they for the combo.
How? Give up.
These weights now things like fuel price. Now federal level, things like exchange rates. No, those are not things. I'm not just saying that make people not protest against their sub-national government. But
the government the value naira.
Exactly. So
wait now. Let's take it one by one now. You know,
they make say protest not the get dates. I put link for you for them poster when Kenyans protest.
Can you give date before they start?
Then look and check the link there. Check the link when I post for there.
Okay, wait. Let me ask you one. Let me answer you now. You say fuel. What is you say fuel is the fuel cost? What it cost? Hardship, Abi? Hello.
Yeah, continue.
I said the cost of hardship is fuel, Abi.
Yeah, that one I want big factor.
Which is forever. Number two, the valuation of naira, Abi.
Yes.
Okay, I want to ask you one question now. During Jonathan regime, how much is fuel? 9 years ago.
95.
86, 87 naira, Abi. 87 naira, Abi. During Jonathan era, how much is $1? $1
was about 190 or so.
190. Okay, divided by 2, how much be that one?
That should be like 95.
95. Today, how much is dollar?
What did they try to do?
Answer question now.
Dollar na about 1.5. Yes.
1.5. How much is fuel today?
Okay, so more they increase.
Maybe they say 50 cents, I mean 49 cents.
More they devalue our currency because one is on set petrol price.
No, but is it the same price of petrol today and that time? Is it not the same 49 cents, I mean 47 cents?
You they call price of petrol downstream. You know, you talk about price of crude oil. Me, tell me how much that one don't change. How much?
During Buhari time, Buhari said sold oil during COVID 2020. COVID sold oil, a barrel of oil was $10. Do you know that time?
Really? Okay, now even agree.
Google it is there. 2020, a barrel was sold for $10.
How much the barrel of
during COVID?
Okay, wait. If barrel of crude oil at $10 that time, that will not mean say the since crude oil now precursor to petrol.
No, Eddie, don't let us go there. What I'm trying to say. See, let me just make my point. What I'm trying to say, I'm not against the protest. No, let us deviate. Let's just focus on what we are the matter, the issue here, the issue. You understand? My only concern, this protest, unless we want to lie to ourselves, is political. It's political, honestly. And number two, if we really believe we want to do changes, we should do changes by ourselves, not for we to be waiting for one person to come and sit down there again.
Who be the politician when they promote this protest one, and then also tell me which protest not the day political? Who be the politician?
So, okay, do you want us to go to street without achieving anything? Yes or no?
No, answer me. Who be the politician? Because you say they political. Who be the politician when they behind this protest?
You don't see so already demand. Is he not a politician?
They mobilize people from the north.
From where?
From the northern part of Nigeria.
Is he not a presidential candidate? Does he have office in all the world at the state and local government?
Forget that matter, brother.
Oh my God, you see? But he was a presidential candidate. Go check it. Nobody vote for her for not.
I'd say you want to article.
No, wait. Nobody vote for her for not.
I beg you.
You don't see Nigeria. You don't see her. That's so with our team.
Nigeria.
When I go protest, una do enter again. We dey here. We will see people. We will still call. There must be casualty. So those are saying no, it's not. But we will still dey here. The recorder. You understand? You want to go protest. You don't get any aim. You don't get anything you want to gain. You don't get any motivation. You just want to ride on sentiment and emotion. Fuel. You want to go to street and say no, is that a protest? Is that a protest? On that day. Since how many years we use Sunday school for Nigeria? You want to go street, go to say on that day. You want government, that is the protest. My God, you people should understand what you are doing, man.
Bros, what's the alternative? What's the alternative to make changes in this country?
That is why I'm telling you people, if you just want the revolution to change the country, know that you, Jay-Z, is the one that is going to take over. Not they will come and tell you want to conduct election, they go to the conduct election again. They carry hoodman, right? You decide constitution, decide electoral act, put it themselves there. Make una go fight if that part of our agency make it there. If you did they change constitution for now. Not to let these people to make decision for you.
Protest, but you are saying that if there must be a protest, maybe people go full, go all out.
Yes, now. I mean, you have to be organic, but if it's no, wait, let me tell you one thing. The constitution gives you the right to protest. I'm not against that one. But what I'm against, let me repeat myself again. What I'm against is those that are online, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, telling us they want to burn down the country. That is what I'm against.
Okay. Yeah, of course, nobody is supportive of anarchy.
Telling us they want to burn down the Senate, they will burn down everything. First, you go to 100 naira, they don't know how far we go to 100 naira. They must, Tinubu. Let me tell you, somebody I have more than 4 photos of the Chief Justice. Somebody said, he said on his this thing, how do I pick it up? He said they should leave the Chief Justice for him. If the protest starts, he's the one who handle the Chief Justice. Gino, mentioning name. Are you telling me that is protest?
You know what? When mass action they happen like this, you are going to see different voices coming up, and not like all of them. Now we supposed to support.
Because Chief Justice is the one doing the election. They don't say that it's right. Let's go pre-preach or come out. put her there, just right. They should leave it for him. He's the one to deal with that person.
I won't say that or support that, but having said that, you also need to know that because if you dey look for even organic protest, because every human being dey different, you're going to hear all types of voices, including the one where you dey talk so. Even this idea of show even if this idea of show even coming up, I never even know say show already aligned with the protest until I dey see wetin of your post now. And personally, I feel like that does not really help the cause because it's not like a politician who's carrying out some sort of vendetta on the government. So yes, if it's going to be organic, you're definitely going to hear all these kind of voices. Might just tell you the truth.
The other one that have the other one that they write end bad governor bad governance. One look at the time in GROV. This guy GROV, former governor of the one that contest for election through Labour Party in Lagos. Go and look go to Sando. Go and look what they are promoting there. They should block all the old exits in Nigeria. They mentioned from the all the old exits, like they should block all. Oh my God, what kind of protest is that? That no escape route for anybody. Are you saying that is a protest? Oh my God, man. I don't know. Bless you, people don't know what they happen, sir.
Now let's look at what Blackwick was saying before. The international aspect of this whole. Maybe we'll look at how the international played out in Bangladesh. Maybe we should watch out for our own too. The Nigeria talking about poor foundation, Abi. They don't think Nigeria.
Poor foundation, they do Nigeria.
A great power play between India, China, and the US is underway, and Hasina is busy managing each force while attempting to keep her house in order. It's a plate full of worries. The situation spells trouble not just for Hasina, but also for the larger neighborhood, particularly India. You see, unlike her radical opponents sympathetic towards Pakistan, Hasina is a friend of India and is New Delhi's best bet at this moment. Trade ties between the two nations have unlocked new heights. They are collaborating in the fields of energy, connectivity, and access to ports. Recently, Hasina highlighted that her country wanted India to carry out a development project in the Teesta River, not China. Hasina is also mindful of India's security concerns and opposes Pakistani influence in her country tooth and nail. Obviously, this bond goes way back. India backed the freedom fighters, including the Mukti Bahini in 1971, without which Bangladesh's formation would not have been possible. If this dispensation falls to an extremist pro-Pakistan political group, India's security calculus will fall apart on the east side, threatening its link with its northeast and Southeast Asia. China, to the north, would be pleased at this outcome, and so would Pakistan. India's risk of two-front war would become a three-front one, a death knell in the eyes of many strategic observers. It also does not help that the US is taking a suspiciously keen interest in Bangladesh. It has been increasingly vocal on alleged political violence, calling for free and fair elections repeatedly. Many see this as foreign interference. The US has always been seen with mistrust, as it was never in favor of the creation of a free Bangladesh. Now it is said that the US is unhappy with Bangladesh's tilt towards Beijing. Shockingly, Hasina was quick to accuse the US of attempting a regime change. This year, she got even more candid. Hasina alleged, and I quote, "If I allowed a certain country to build an air base in Bangladesh, then I would have no problem." And which country would that be? She does not name it, but she said that the offer came from a white man. She goes on to say, and I quote, "It may appear that it is aimed at only one country, but it is not. I know where else they intend to go." What's even more interesting is she openly said that there is a conspiracy to break parts of Myanmar and Bangladesh and build, and I quote, "a Christian nation with a base in the Bay of Bengal." Now that's some great game, if even minutely true. But her problems do not end here. Hasina has been playing a balancing game between India and China, But this strategy is being tested at this time of crisis. Just this month, Hasina returned from China after a meeting with Xi Jinping, a day before her tour was scheduled to end. Reports say that Hasina felt snubbed by the Chinese, with no one but Xi meeting her and offering nothing but about $130 million when she was anticipating $5 billion. That's a sharp fall and a message. India has already extended lines of credit worth $8 billion to Bangladesh to wean it away from China's debt. Both New Delhi and Beijing have been funding the port of Mongla in Bangladesh, the second largest in the country. So Hasina treats India as a friend, China as a business partner, and the US as a hostile power aiming to destabilize her rule. But while the US continues to criticize her government and extend its support to the opposition, India hopes that she stays, and China is refusing the financial support she expects from it. Under this backdrop, the frequent protests and internal turmoil paint a grim picture. Hasina is under pressure from all sides, and the clock is ticking on her rule.
So just like what Blacklist said, either now the foreign interest will start time or they will take advantage of whatever they can. This is to reserve. It's not dependent for we Nigeria, the way that they control us. So are we expecting foreign interest to come and take advantage of the protests, or they are already in? Who won't go?
Nigeria now hear me too. Have you not know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Protest has begun in another side of foreign intervention in how we remain perpetual a backward nation through Dangote refinery. Somebody's on the other line. Someone?
Sorry, now
Okay.
I'm mute now.
Okay. So, whichever way we are talking about interference in our democracy, in our protest, is minor to the bigger issue we are facing behind the scene of the foreign power affair with our instability. So, for whatever the reason may be, even in this protest, if they continue, I believe Nigerian is not there yet. It has to be between a rock and a hard place where we can say we have no other place to go. It's either we fight to survive or we die where we are, or we make a choice to at least to attempt. That is what I believe that will take the protest to the next level that maybe African have not seen before. Comparing to what is going on with Nigeria and Kenya, the similarities is there, but then I believe that there's a missed opportunity because you don't change from the outside. When Ruto offer them of a share government, they could have a think, they could have visited instead of flat saying no, because I believe in a society whereby you can protest and no life has to be lost. And sometimes it doesn't come that way, and it's okay. But then if it comes that way, it's much better. But most likely, when you protest, life is in danger, and there will be life that will be gone for the sake of others, which is a sacrifice that people pay for freedom. Freedom is not free. But then, in summary, it's like you say that, oh, can we see like a Bangladesh issue in our protest? If the protest continue, it depends how long it lasts, and it depends the tune, and depends on who is negotiating on behalf of the Gen Z and how far they want to go. If you drag for so long and there's thinking that the Gen Z have upper hand, trust me, our problem is beyond what you think. There will be other interferences to keep the black people where they are, and they will launch it because our people are not that patriotic. They will sell the youth for anything. Thank you.
Hello? Can anyone hear me? Everybody is silent. Oh.
Yeah, I can hear you though. I don't know what.
Okay, okay. I thought maybe just one. Maybe another person can come in now. Eddie. Eddie. They are not there. Mama?
No, don't worry, I'm here, but I don't have anything to say now. Let Uvis.
If it's not to be issue, it doesn't trigger it, so let him relax.
Oh my. Don't worry. People wait for the hour. We're supposed to the talk how they want to take over. That is why Buhari say sorry of it. That is why Buhari say lazy youth. Because Buhari, they are tired, they never allow people to rule there. They take over. For you to think of taking over, you are waiting for one politician of 60, 70 years to come and be ruling you again. The Nigerians should desist from all these things. This is not the what we want. People who are analog, people who cannot read for just 5 minutes. You want them to come and be making law. That is why the National Assembly there. They are making law to siphon for themselves. Because no vibrant youth today. You have vibrant youth today that has energy to shake that Senate. You have like 20 or 40 there. That place will be shaking every day by day. You are still expecting all these people to come and sit down and be making a pensioner law for you. They should go and meet it. Because even during the election, okay, do you know, during the gubernatorial election 2023, you know, this Abari Ononuga made a statement now that I don't know, some people now went to sue him in the ICPC. They have called him since then to come out. I think it was last month. I didn't think that case is already dead. So all these things we are doing, I don't just understand Nigeria. We don't even know what we want. That is just the problem. I'm just expecting all these people to come and be making law, making everything for us. You want to go and put PDP. You want PDP to come back to power. It will be is PDP. All those people are PDP. Who are coming to power, put their cronies there again. The same people will start. They will start there again. Will start complaining again, complaining. So you have a like mind like you, honestly, that is only the way Nigeria. Why are we not doing what Mali did? See Mali, they scrap French. They are no more speaking French. They scrap it. They break away from the foreign influence in their country. They break it. They start from scratch. Let them build their own country, build their own way to rule themselves. No, I want to protest hunger. I want to protest for hunger. Which kind of protest is that for? Well, I don't support those kinds, don't do that. Ovie, your platform don't talk to the nation. Your platform don't talk to the donation. You don't see what you did for your message.
I don't know, that person always come. They always go out. Anywhere you go, right? They always see that.
Oh my God, Nigeria. Everybody want to serve. I think it's another. I want to say I've been another righteous man with this one. I'm not tell us about those body. Go sit down one place. Anybody can come in. Me, I don't have so much to say about this protest. Because I'm not even. The thing is not even getting. It's not organic. Whatever is not organic, I don't think I will support it. People begin to choose who they want. People to be pick choosing. Oh, leave this one for me. Leave this one for me. Leave this one for me. When it starts, when the thing starts, so you want to go to the house and start buying people. Oh my God. See Fayose, look, go and watch Fayose, that the former Ekiti State governor. Go and watch his news in the channel, at least last week. How people are planning to, they want to bomb Dangote refinery. What kind of heartless people is that?
Nah, them.
When they talk what we are going to, but I bet make una bring suggestion. Well, all of you are, why are people silent? Okay, fair. No, me, I'm just talking my own. I mean, go make una not carry my own thing. No, I'm gonna go protest. So I'm just saying they should not destroy anything. I beg, should not destroy the BRT bus when they born for Lagos now. They say what 3 billion. That's why I don't go. Transportation for them, they want free for them, huh? Abi, I had the DNA lab, the forensic this thing, they burn all of them down. Abi. So short, they are still going to build it everything back. That is what politicians even need. Mostly all these state governors, that is what they want you to burn it down. So they will collect more money for federal loot. They will build it for another 200 years for us. The little one will have what to burn it down. I don't know how that will change. Go and take over and change. Nobody want to participate in it. Nobody want to. Nobody, if you are a Nigerian youth, no hunger day. They say hunger day. You young boy, young girl, they carry phone of one iPhone of 1 point something million for hand. They do TikTok. Which kind of hunger be that one? Huh?
Business.
Well, that's not Nigeria. Now, person get one go Nigeria. If you see, I see somebody go young carry 2 iPhone for hand. Each one is 1 point something, 1.5, 1.5. Somebody they buy car. They are buying car every day in Nigeria. The new car, how to come back and go to Nigeria? Don't they stay? Buying car 20 million, 50 million, 100 million. Where go? Nigeria, I mean, Nigeria, we are not ready. We just like to politicize everything ourselves. I don't know. To politicize everything ourselves. I think Peter Obina have sued, they have sued by your Ononuga. I heard that is another good one. Let them go to court. So maybe we go give our evidence for them. That is their job to do now. Let them go and find themselves in court. These people are politicians. I don't believe all those people are messiah that will come and change anything. These people cannot change anything. They cannot do anything for us. Cannot do anything. All their account is in foreign, all their money is in foreign. There. Even though the whole money where in Nigeria born, it don't affect their money. It don't affect them. Their children look, see the presidential candidate, vice president, that year, man. You get school, you get school for Nigeria university, but your daughter they graduate from America, for London.
What would you do with that?
What did you do with that? Like those people they say what can change life for you. Oh my, sometimes I don't understand with Nigeria. You get schools, university for Nigeria, they collect millions from Nigeria hand, but your own daughter they graduate for UK university. Wow. These are person who tell you say they want to change Nigeria.
Progression to consumption.
from be like Atiku.
They produce what they consume.
It be like Atiku saying get university. During the election, he come back. They say that Dubai, they say they didn't see him all this year. Dubai. He said no, you go school. Now so the school where you get university, you don't get the course inside your own school, inside your university. Why you not call you yourself that time? What they produce, you know the consumer. It's good for Nigeria, collecting millions from there. But you use that same money, trade your charge in UK, America. So then you tell us you want to come and change Nigeria. Say charity begins at home, I beg. People should stop deceiving, not people like we. Because the people they are deceiving is all these GC, because 99% of them, this is the first time, 99% of them know only Buhari. They don't know Good Luck. They don't know Yaradua. They don't know Obasanjo when he was the president. No. So they only know the history of Buhari because majority of them was born in 2000, 99, 2001, 2004. So they are just about 18, 19, 20, 21 years. So they only know Buhari. That is the problem. Because if they understand Nigeria, the way I be coming, during from Shagari, they go understand, say this corruption, even better pass the way Shagari. Uh, 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 Private jets, all politicians get private jets during Shagari, full everywhere, all the whole country. That made military take over that time. So, don't know why they are still these people. People have been recycling themselves there, but Nigeria will be fighting for them. Fighting for who? I beg you, those sentiments and emotion cannot go with me again. These people, none of them have anything to do. They are just there to come and get power and just.
Hey, what's happening? And German, they don't kick you out. So you can just come and talk about Obi and Betty Ahmed as you want, which is a be. Doesn't matter if you are obedient. They kick you out. Wahala dey o, Oga Moses, good evening to you from the part of the world. Which wahala dey? Na the protest na, I never start. That go tell us start o. Eh? That go tell us start. Don't start protest o. Mr. James, you send them out. Hey, let me play this. Let me pull up this here. That go tell. What go tell? Down go tell. What go tell? Down go tell. Then go. Then go. Say breaking news. Um, my carry challenge Aliko Dangote to non-government worker behind fuel plant in Malta. Damn. In a statement he issued via his Twitter social media platform, Kerry maintained that he does not own a blending plant in Malta, nor did he know any of his colleagues as do. Malika, the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, has challenged billionaire businessman Dangote Aliko to reveal the identity of the NNPC worker accused of establishing a blending plant in Malta. A statement he issued here is, Mona continue. You guys should continue fighting. It's welcoming.
Yeah. On this issue of the Dangote refinery, my thought is it's I don't think it helps anybody for that refinery not to be up and running. Um, because first it does not tell good about the kind of investment environment that we have in Nigeria. The fact that we have a so-called largest private refinery and we are the largest exporter of oil in the country and we cannot supply that refinery for someone who's supposed to be one of the top businessmen in our country. It does not encourage people who are coming from outside the country, because if Dangote is having this kind of challenge, um, what does that tell people who are not even conversant with the business environment of Nigeria? Um, yes, we can say Dangote is monopolized and all of that. And yes, there's some truth to that. But in this oil space, you can't really call him a monopolist. He's just entering into the market. It's when he has probably settled in and is now trying to use anti-competitive um, techniques to prevent other people from entering into the market or from competing, then you can really accuse him of being a monopoly. I know Dangote has had his own issues, but in the big picture, I feel that this refinery should really be allowed to work. It should really be allowed to work. Um, yes, and I think this is what I don't like about the Tinubu government. Everything is not about politics and just lining pockets. This could be one of the things that you use to say, okay, my administration uh, helped the emergence of this largest refinery in the country. So why now make it about the issues that we're hearing today? I think it's just sad. It's just sad. That's not to take away from the fact that Dangote himself has also, in some ways, be part of our problems. But on this issue, I think the refinery should have been allowed to go on. It does not help the country at all. Ovie,
Yes, Ade, I'm with you.
they talk. Oh.
No, Ade, I dey try to focus. No, the latest, what is coming out. But so far, now they are still going back and forth with Obi. What's that they call her? But I know Eddie.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Outside Showore, Gumi, which other major people are putting up with protests together?
That I cannot know. Even the Gumi, did I see somewhere where he denied being involved in terms of organizing? And this Showore thing just came up like you are the one that even showed me. I didn't know that Showore was involved. It has mostly been people online, on Twitter, like the same people who are in the political space in Nigeria. They are mostly the people like the influencers and all of that. But to point out like one person, I've not been able to.
Really, I don't know. I just the show were on now because of I know they follow. My Twitter is not too active like that, but few people are they follow. I see because I was focused before. I tried last week. I was focused on what is going on in America. So I don't really. So I just once in a while I will just peep. But show where the man always come up. I think somebody sent it to me too. I was like, and it always make me no pick interest. But I said this one are normal.
Yeah, I don't know why she already make him about himself. Even the whole idea of tying it to 5 years anniversary and all of that. This is something that I don't think he started. So why is it about him now?
Hey, he wants to be president now.
So
he wants to be president, so he has to. It's now the way be this now. What do they do off season, growing up with all this content now? And this is his own play. This is what bring him to. This is what bring him to fame. What bring him to fame. This is what he knows to do best. So he will continue until they with us again. That's what I think.
Okay, make I go do some other things. It was nice chatting with you. If I don't know, okay,
It's right, right.
all right.
Brother,
My HO, I greet you. Black League, I hail you. All right.
Thank you very much. Good night. Good night. Mr. Obi, I think I'll sign out too.
okay, okay. Make
It's
me.
already 7:30 in the Gambia.
All right.
Thank you so much. Maybe
You're
we'll see
welcome.
tomorrow. We'll see tomorrow.
All right, all right. Have a nice rest of the day.